I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL has released a statement saying it continues to be in contact with the medical team in Cincinnati caring for Bills safety Damar Hamlin, who remains in critical condition after suffering cardiac arrest following a hit in the first quarter on Monday Night Football against the Bengals. Commissioner Roger Goodell has informed the Bills and Bengals that their suspended game will not be resumed this week. The league has made no decision regarding the possible resumption of the game at a later date. In addition, the NFL hasn't made any changes to the Week 18 regular season schedule. Hamlin's family, via a statement, thanking the public for their support and asking for continued prayers for Damar. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin.
Man, it's a really personal thing for me, being a Pittsburgher, and that young man being a Pittsburgher. I've known that guy probably since he was about 12. Just got a lot of respect and love for him as a human being, his commitment to the pursuit of his goals and dreams of doing what it is he's doing right now, which is playing in the NFL.
Steelers coach Mike Tomlin. Stay tuned to ESPN Radio and tune into SportsCenter on ESPN TV for the latest on this NFL story.
Hi, this is Max Kellerman from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. All of us here at ESPN Radio would like to wish you happy holidays and a happy new year.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, gang's back together. We're here. Glad you are as well. Happy New Year. Hope your holiday celebration was awesome. Enjoyed the week away. Paulie was away as well. So shout out to Muse, to Mario, to the Sports Shorts guys, Ronnie and the gang for holding it down while I was out. We appreciate everybody greatly. And, of course, not the first, but let me be the latest to wish you all a very happy 2023. Hope everybody was safe and back and ready to roll. LSU beats Purdue 63-7. Say that out loud. LSU beats Purdue 63-7. I mean, y'all, we all knew that this was kind of the role reversal of a year ago when LSU had all the opt-outs. They were decimated, and they played Kansas State and got run in a game that probably shouldn't have been played. This wasn't as egregious from the Purdue side as it was from the LSU side a year ago, but I didn't see 63-7. But, y'all, that game was exactly the no stress, start to finish behind whipping that we all needed from this team to end the season on a high note and to purge the disappointment of the A&M loss and the Georgia loss at the end of the regular season in the SEC championship game. It was a lot of fun to watch LSU empty the bag, get really creative on offense, to see Brian Kelly high-fiving the Cheez-It man and eating Cheez-Its off the ground. I think it was Joe Fouché who did a snow angel in the Cheez-Its, face down, which was weird, but still celebratory. And it was just a fun day all the way around. It's fun to watch. Y'all have seen the superlatives. Most points ever scored in a Citrus Bowl, 63. Most yards in a Citrus Bowl, 594. Largest margin of victory for LSU in any bowl game, 56. I mean, LSU beat Purdue worse than LSU beat Oklahoma in that Peach Bowl 3 years ago. It was staggering. And you did it, by the way, without Kayshon Boutte. without Jeray Jenkins, without Jack Besh, without Josh Williams, without Ali Gay, without Jaquelin Roy, without Mekhi Gardner, without B.J. Ojolari. It wasn't like you were whole for this game, and you still went out there and did what you did. So, I mean, Purdue not having their quarterback, receiver, tight end had nothing to do with LSU hanging a 60-burger on them. Let's get very clear about that. LSU was ready. They played awesome, and that was great to see. After the game, here's what Brian Kelly had to say about his team's really one-sided win, dominating win over Purdue.
We played really well. Our guys executed at a high level. They competed at a high level. We were not at full strength, but that didn't stop our guys from putting in the time and the effort. Congratulations to Purdue. They were in a very difficult situation as well, but our guys handled it well today and played at a high level.
Couple of observations from the game. Let me just start with the quarterbacks, right? I mean, we got to see all three of them, which was really cool. Jaden Daniels started the game and played exceptionally well. LSU scored on its second possession. Nussmeier came in, led LSU to a scoring drive. So they basically went 2-1, 2-1. Jaden got the first possession of the third quarter where he caught a touchdown pass. LSU was up 42-0. Nuss played the rest of the third, and Walker played the fourth, which was great to see. Garrett Nussmeier did a lot of really good things as well. You could see the spark. You could see the arm strength, all the things that people like about him a lot as a prospect. He delivered as well. He did throw the interception in the end zone, which we'll talk about. But if you're Garrett Nussmeier, that's the thing he's got to work on. We all know it. You've got to purge those turnovers out of your game. And he hasn't done it yet, but the things he did well, he did really well. And it was nice to see Walker Howard get in there, had a really nice run, set up a scoring drive late that we saw with Derek Davis get the touchdown run. So all three quarterbacks that you got to play. And Brian Kelly, after the game, mentioned that he does. Can you play 12, please? Brian Kelly said, because that's been the big question. Are any of these guys going to leave? Brian Kelly said, at least not imminently.
I absolutely 100% believe that all three quarterbacks are going to be with us. And all of them we've had conversations with and feel that that's the direction we're going.
Okay. So does that mean we'll be with you in spring? We'll be with you beyond spring? We'll be with you in the fall? It all remains to be seen. We know the current culture of college football, especially at the quarterback position. Guys don't stay. Guys don't wait. Is it different here? We will wait and see, but Brian Kelly, you clearly have done your due diligence. You've talked to these guys. You know what needs you have and what you may need, and they'll address it from there as needed, but fully expecting to have all three guys with them in the spring. Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is clearly ready to be a star. And I want to point this out. Yes, the stat line is great. 9 receptions, 163 yards, and a touchdown. He was 2 of 2 passing for 50 yards, including the touchdown pass to Jaden Daniels. But remember, no Kayshon Boutte, no Jeray Jenkins, which meant you had fewer weapons on the field, fewer known weapons on the field that teams had to account for. So in theory, it would have been easier for Purdue to say, look, we're not going to rotate coverage to Kayshon, obviously because he wasn't out there. So you could say, we're going to double Malik. We're going to give more attention there. Didn't matter. He was awesome. And shows he is ready to be a number one. He is ready to be a star. And next year, I would fully anticipate, at this point, we're talking about Malik Neighbors as a high draft pick and a guy that's going to be headed off to the NFL after his junior year at LSU. The other thing specifically with the game, and look, when you win 63-7, there are a lot of angles you can go because there's a lot of good when you win a game like that. There weren't any very notable special teams mishaps. Yay. I mean, Gregory Clayton even caught a punt when he got annihilated while catching it. I mean, we're talking progress here. It was good. But how about the defensive line? Let's give some credit there. That has been, by far, the thinnest position on this team all year. They rotated really 3 defensive tackles all year. And in this game, you had no Ali Gay, you had no B.J. Ojolari, and no Jaquelin Roy. So at the spot where you were already thinnest, you had to go into this game down 3 starters. And so you saw Mekhi Wingo and Jacoby and Guillory play a ton. You saw Savion Jones start at that left end. Mike Jones moved up and played the jack linebacker. We saw a lot of Xavier Carter there. And I don't know if you noticed, but at one point in the second half, your defensive line had Quincy Wiggins, Ty G. Hill, and Fitzgerald West. You had 3 freshmen on your defensive line. in the second half. And not only did those guys play, but there was no notable drop-off. That game for LSU, yes, the offense was awesome. They put up nearly 600 yards and 63 points, but the defense forced 3 turnovers and almost got a 4th when Harold Perkins forced a fumble and limited Purdue to 94 rushing yards on 36 attempts. Came up with 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. LSU dominated the line of scrimmage. That wasn't lacking Aiden O'Connell and Charlie Jones. That had nothing to do with their tight end not being there. LSU just whipped Purdue at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And that was cool to see. Big shout out Micah Baskerville as well. One of the things that caught my eye, and this has been true for his whole time at LSU, even in the fourth quarter when LSU was up 7 touchdowns, Baskerville's still running sideline to sideline making plays. So credit to that guy who at any point could have said, you know what, I'm going to tap out, I'm going to opt out. Came back this year, played the full season, became another year as a key contributor on this defense, and even to the very end was making plays. So a great, great day for LSU. Now we watch draft decisions. Mike Jones announced that he's not going to come back for a super senior season. He's going to go off to the pros. We're awaiting word on John Emery. I'm told that the staff is anticipating John Emery is going to declare. Guys could always change their mind, but I think they're expecting John Emery's going to go pro. And then you look toward the February signing day. High schools, portal additions, who else might leave your program? Derek Davis has an interesting decision now to make, who entered the portal when the waiver came that he could play and retain that year, came back, played in this game. Now maybe the door is open for him to return if he wants to, or does he leave? We'll see. But what a way to punctuate the season for LSU with the feel-good in the belly that a lot of us really needed after the A&M and Georgia losses. And LSU was able to really churn on offense like they had done for a chunk of October and in the Alabama game that we saw wane late through November and into December. So LSU wins the Citrus Bowl 63-7. Brian Kelly becomes just the 3rd coach in LSU history to win double-digit games in year 1, joining Mike Archer and Les Miles. And now Brian Kelly on that list as well. Look toward 23, where LSU could well be the SEC West favorite going into the season. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here on this first show of the new year. We'll knock out a quick break. Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. We're moving into a new year, but it's the same message now as Shawbills moves into year 55? Incredible. Since 1968. 55 years serving Louisiana. It's Shawbills. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. That's what they do at Shawbills. That's what they've done for 55 years, and that's what they do better than anyone. It's Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. Go to the website. You can always shop the dealer specials. If you need an oil change, if you need a brake repair, if you need the check engine light on your dash checked out, they can help you at Shawbills with anything you need, bumper to bumper. It's ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, quick break, y'all. We'll come back. Saints win, but they're eliminated from the playoffs. There is one thing that I find very encouraging, and I'm not just talking about a 3-game winning streak. I'll get into that. And then at the top of next hour, if you have to leave, come back at 4 o'clock Central, because at the top of hour 2, I want to talk about the LSU quarterback situation. Brian Kelly addressed it point blank after the game and how they rotated the quarterbacks, and I want to dive into that. We'll get to that coming up in about 45 minutes. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit. Let's go, defense!
We get it done with passion for our fans
and love for our community.
We are the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2022 Ford F-150, plus no payments for 90 days and 2.9% APR for 72 months. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications. the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ATEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
The fake, the pressure, the fumble, the sack. Cameron Jordan finishes it all off.
That was Cam Jordan's third sack of the game against Philly on Sunday, and that would be the record setter as Cam Jordan, congrats to him. He is now the Saints' all-time sack leader, passing the great Ricky Jackson. Oddly enough, though, after the game, Cam Jordan was asked about it and said he didn't know that was the record.
No, because I didn't know if they gave me sack number 1, so I thought technically that was 2. I needed another one. It was that, that 3rd and 1. I wrapped him up, and he sort of fell, and I was like, what was that? Because he went for the pass, but, sometimes they don't give it to you in that limbo. I'll take those. I wish I could have, like, the Michael Strahan freebie.
Yep. He's referring to when Strahan set the single-season sack record, sacking Brett Favre when Favre rolled toward Strahan and just fell down, giving him the record. Say what you will about it, whatever. Don't need to rehash that, but that's what he's referring to there. But Jordan, who has been a former first-round pick, who's been a Saint his entire career, who now holds a hallowed record, which look, Ricky Jackson was the first Pro Football Hall of Famer in Saints history. And Jackson obviously went and played beyond his time in New Orleans, won a Super Bowl in San Francisco with the Niners. But he is synonymous with the New Orleans Saints. Like if it were like in Major League Baseball where you go in wearing a hat, right? Like you go in representing a team, Ricky Jackson would have gone into the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a Saint. And since then, we've obviously seen Willie Roaf and Morton Anderson. So there have been others, and obviously Drew Brees will come, and there will be further. But, and man, for Cameron Jordan now to surpass a Pro Football Hall of Famer in Ricky Jackson, who, again, was the first Pro Football Hall of Famer in franchise history, is astonishing, but in a mouthful, just talk about it. But here was Jordan putting some perspective on the moment.
You know, I'm just overly happy and excited to give the Lord praise for waking me up this morning, giving me breath well into 2023. All of, 16 and a half hours into 2023, and we had, 3 sacks today. That's one heck of a way to start off 2023. Don't know what tomorrow's going to hold, but January 1 was a good day.
Yeah, the 3 sacks were a great way to start off 2023 for New Orleans, and obviously the win as well, which I want to delve into here in a bit, because I think as much as we have bemoaned this season, and rightfully so, there's something that I'm pretty optimistic about moving forward with the Saints. Let me check in with Muse and Paulie real quick, because I missed you guys last week. Muse, good holiday?
Yeah, man, it was nice. A lot of time off, a lot of just lounging around. Didn't do much during the holidays.
You didn't have much time off, bro. You were hosting this. You were hosting this show.
Yeah, but
Paulie
you know
and I
mean.
were the schlups just at home doing nothing over the last week.
You know what I mean, though. The time off that I did have it was enjoyed. It was. I mean, yesterday we were done at 10 after pregame and just got to lounge the rest of the day. So that's.
I spent yesterday. You know how uneventful the game was. So we're at Don Juan for whiskey and wine. So T-Bob and I watched the game there, and like midway through midway through the second quarter, T-Bob and our guy Cliff Nelson start debating, like they're yelling at each other about the ranking order of superhero movies or something like that. And it's total nerd culture. I have no idea anything they're talking about. And I get out my camera. This is on my Twitter if you want to go see it, at Matt Moscona on Twitter. And I just start videoing them. It's about a 60-second video of these two idiots just yelling. And I love them both dearly, by the way. But in this moment, I'm like, you two are idiots. They're just yelling at each other about nerd culture and ranking movies and things. Like, it's, and I would play it for you, but I'm sure it's at Don Juan. I'm sure there's expletives, so it's not worth, potentially getting a fine to start 2023. But that's how uneventful the game was yesterday with LSU and Purdue. In the middle of the first half, these guys are just yelling at each other about movie rankings.
You just said that you love T-Bob dearly.
I do love T-Bob dearly. I do. I think people know that.
Growth in 2023. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he certainly has his flaws, as do we all. And he and I could not be more polar opposite when it comes to our broadcasting styles or the way we carry ourselves or really anything at all. But I believe genuinely is a nice person and wants to do well by others. And I appreciate people who like to do right by others. That's all. Paulie, did you have a good holiday?
It was good. It was very busy, but a lot of good time off.
So you had time? Did you go anywhere?
We went to the in-laws. Just a lot of family stuff.
You stayed here though.
Yeah.
On your week off. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The always very wordy Paul O'Neill picking up right where he left off in 22. Paul, just like next time, just keep it a little shorter. Okay. It's only a 3-hour show. That's all I'm saying.
I'll do my best.
Thank you, Paulie. So the Saints win their third in a row. For a team that had not won back-to-back games all year, to now have a 3-game winning streak heading into Week 18, with a chance to win a home game against Carolina with an interim coach, and potentially to polish off a 4-game winning streak to finish the season, and be just a game off of what you did a year ago, is a pretty dramatic about-face. Because I would have told you, and I mean, what we talked about here was I thought after the Saints beat the Rams, that they would lose to the Bucs and lose to the Falcons, which they did. And I said I thought they could win the home divisional games. I thought they could beat Atlanta, which they did, and I thought they could beat Carolina, which they have a chance to do. I did not see them going on the road and beating Cleveland. Remember, the narrative around the game with Cleveland is Deshaun Watson was back. So the Saints were going to face not Jacoby Brissett, but they were going to face Deshaun Watson in his third game back. And they did that, rallied from a double-digit deficit in like negative temps, wind chill, single-digit, temperatures with negative wind chill, and then went on the road and beat the best team in the NFC. So this 3-game winning streak is very encouraging. Now, listen, I am a guy who and I don't know that we necessarily need to dive deep into the game against the Eagles. The Saints have been eliminated from the playoffs. Tampa beating Carolina, rallying to beat Carolina, locked up the division. The Saints had an outside shot at a wild card. They needed about 4 things to go their way. The first among them was Minnesota beating Green Bay on Sunday, and Green Bay waxed Minnesota, so the Saints have been eliminated. They'll play Week 18 against Carolina, and that's it. So they're not playing for what we've all known for months now, that the Saints weren't going to the playoffs, but there was always the mathematic probability or possibility because the division was so bad and nobody wanted to win it. Well, now they have mathematically been eliminated. It's over. They can't go to the playoffs. And I have said throughout the season that what we have learned about Dennis Allen with the growing sample size is that he's never going to be a winning head coach in the NFL, that he is a lieutenant and not a general. And he's a great lieutenant, and not all lieutenants are meant to be generals. And I believe that about Dennis Allen. Now, I could also be wrong. There may be a time where Dennis Allen proves me wrong, and many of you as well if you agree with me. I still believe that Dennis Allen, that a 3-game winning streak does not erase what we knew about Dennis Allen with the Raiders and how this season started. I would have hoped to see a lot of that growth as a head coach earlier in the season, because had we seen that, then the New Orleans Saints would be a playoff team, but they're not. But I will say, one of the things, and I am not a guy who is going to cheer against my team to spite a coach. I'm not going to sit here and say, man, I want him to fire Dennis Allen, so I hope the Saints lose. Hell no, I'm not going to say that. I want the Saints to win every time they play. I want the Saints to go beat Carolina on Sunday. I want the Saints to win that game in the Dome, to finish 8-9, and to continue to show an upward trajectory. And then I would love for them next year to nail the draft, figure out their quarterback situation, and be back in the playoffs next year. That's what I would love to see for my team. I don't know if I believe that's going to happen or can happen under Dennis Allen, but I would love for that to happen. And I'll tell you, there's one thing that we have seen over certainly the last month, and I would actually go back really, I think you got to go back to the Raiders game when they won that game 24-0. Now, you followed that up with an embarrassing loss at home on Monday Night Football, 27-13. But since then, this defense has looked like the defense that Dennis Allen had brought back to New Orleans, the defensive culture that he instilled when he came back to New Orleans when they fired Rob Ryan and reinserted Dennis Allen as the DC. The top 5 defense in the NFL that had helped pace the Saints in the final years of the Breeze era. The Saints beat the Rams 27-20. They went out to San Fran and were amazing defensively, but they got shut out. They lost 13-0. They allowed 13 points to the 49ers. You lost to Tampa 17-16. It's hard to put that one on the defense when, yes, they collapsed late, but you had allowed 3 points in that game through the first 57 minutes. 3 points to Tom Brady and Tampa on the road through 57 minutes. The Falcons scored 18. You held the Browns to 10 with Deshaun Watson, albeit we understand the conditions, the wind and the cold. And then you went to Philly and held the best team in the NFC to 10 points. And you could say there's no Jalen Hurts, and that's true, but it's why the matchup favored New Orleans, because they had struggled the last 2 years. Jalen Hurts killed them the last 2 years. And that matchup did favor. But the Eagles went to Dallas last week on Christmas Eve, and although they lost, they scored 34 points on the road in Dallas with Gardner Minshew. So let's not pretend like the Eagles are just void of talent without Jalen Hurts. And if there was an argument to be made for Dennis Allen before this season, it was, okay, you're keeping the culture the same, have it play this great defense, figure out quarterback, Pete Carmichael, call the offense, and that's been a disappointment. But just revisiting what the argument was before the season or when Dennis Allen was hired, the thing that went awry to start the season is Dennis Allen's defense sucked. It sucked. They were one of the worst. They were a bottom 5 defense in the NFL. They allowed 26 to Atlanta, 28 to Minnesota, 32 to Seattle, 30 to Cincinnati, 42 to Arizona. And I know there were 2 pick sixes, but even with that, you still allowed 30 points to Arizona and Kyler Murray. And that was a team, if you remember, that was anemic offensively. They couldn't score. That was the team that's won one game at home in the last dozen, and that game is against New Orleans. So the thing that we all thought was going to be great was atrocious. Well, in the last 7 games, over the last 5 games, so Eagles, Browns, Falcons, Bucks, Niners, so that's after the 27-20 game against the Rams, the Saints have allowed 13, 17, 18, 10, and 10. That averages out to 13.6 points per game. Over the last month, they have been one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL. They have looked like the team we thought they were going to be. They looked like the team that had been great defensively for the last half decade. So that is really encouraging. Now, you're still dead last in the NFL in takeaways. You got 12 on the whole season. But welcome back, Marshawn Lattimore. His pick 6 iced the game for you in Philly on Sunday. How different does your secondary look if Lattimore's been there? That's a fair question to ask. I missed 2 months with a lacerated kidney. So, yes, Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan's bumping up against a double-digit sack season now after the 3 that he had on Sunday. How about Caden Ellis, y'all? Caden Ellis, you realize Caden Ellis has 7 sacks this year? That's a guy that was a 7th-round draft pick, only played because of the injury to Pete Werner, and now you legit have a question going, are you going to ride with Pete Werner and Caden Ellis and move on from Demario Davis? I don't want that, by the way. I mean, man of God is my dude, and he's the greatest free agent acquisition of the Payton era outside of Drew Brees. So, I mean, I don't want him to go anywhere, but I guess my point is you have the heir apparent, right? That's fair to say. For whenever Demario Davis decides he's going to call it a career. But Caden Ellis is an unrestricted free agent. You're going to have to deal with that this offseason. Alontae Taylor has really emerged. I guess my point is you can build around this defense. The defense we've seen over the last month, if that's the defense that they're going to ride with moving forward, you can build around that defense, go into this offseason, and figure out what you're going to do at quarterback. The answer ain't Andy Dalton. And I don't think it's Derek Carr either for all those conversations. We can talk about that, contract and all the things that are out there about it that are make it quite difficult. You don't have the draft capital that you'd like. Is there another answer? That's going to be a conversation that dominates the next 3 months of Saints talk. But if that defense is here to stay, the defense we've seen over the last month, now you're cooking. Because if that defense had showed up the first month, you're a playoff team. Again, I will hope to be proven wrong. I don't believe the Saints are going to win great things under Dennis Allen ever, but I will gladly be wrong if, in fact, he's able to turn this thing around here after the rocky first two-thirds of the season. Okay, glad you're here with us. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, go around the SEC. What else do we have coming up? Muse will have Tigers in the pros. We'll look forward to that as always. And I do want to talk a little bit about the DeMar Hamlin situation. We'll try to keep you updated. I realize I'm not going to sit here in Baton Rouge and report on that story the way that the national media is. But to the extent that we know what's happening and when we do get updates, we'll certainly pass them along to you as well. We're glad you're here with us on a Tuesday edition of AFR.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Toyota in Opelousas is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corvell Toyota family to yours.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Last night was pretty terrifying. I don't know that I can add anything that hasn't already been said about the Damar Hamlin situation. I was watching Monday Night Football like a lot of you were, saw the hit. It looked like any number of hits that you see on any given football field in forever, but Damar Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest, as we now know. The Bills have released a statement. The NFL, the PA, the Bengals all have released statements about what happened. He, as I'm looking at NFL Live presently, remains in critical condition after cardiac arrest on Monday. He was resuscitated on the field. He needed AED. They defibrillated him on the field, so his heart stopped. I mean, he was, I guess, medically dead. I mean, his heart stopped beating. And so they had to revive him on the field, which is, knowing that information, now it's very understandable why you saw the expression that you did on many of the players' faces there in Cincinnati last night during the game. Like everyone else has said, I have nothing to add other than, man, I just pray for Damar Hamlin, for those taking care of him. I am hopeful that he makes a full recovery, and prayers for his family and those that love him and his teammates and everybody that's dealing with this very traumatic and serious event. But so often, man, and it's really the power of sports and how sports brings people together. I'm sure many of you have seen this by now, but back when Damar Hamlin was at Pitt, he had started a GoFundMe, and his goal was to raise $2,500 to buy toys for needy kids in his hometown area in Pennsylvania. It's in McKees Rock, Pennsylvania, a town of about 6,000. Well, last night a lot of people grabbed a hold of this, and that was back when he was a student at Pitt. As of now, and I just updated this Google search on this, and the latest reports are that, and I'm trying to find the page, so forgive me, I don't have the page in front of me. Some of you may have it, and if you do, please text it to me or tweet it. You can text 225-396-4400, 396-4400. The latest news is that there's been over $4 million donated to Damar Hamlin's charity, which is just an incredible outpouring of support and shows how many people have come together. So turning something absolutely horrific into something overwhelmingly good is an illustration of the best of humanity. And so often we only see and highlight the worst, but sometimes the good deserves to be have a light shown upon it as well. And that's the case here, is that so many people have donated to Damar Hamlin's charity, which is phenomenal to see. So, well, I have no information other than just to say what everybody's thinking. We're praying for Damar Hamlin, hope that he makes a full recovery, praying for comfort for all the people around him, his family, his teammates. And as we have more, we'll pass it along to you here. Okay, it is After Further Review. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Georgia Bulldogs.
A Georgia tight end, Darnell Washington, is questionable for the College Football Playoff Championship game. He suffered a lower body injury. Now, Marty Smith clarified after a conversation with Kirby Smart, it is a soft tissue contusion and strain. It will not require surgery. And with that type of injury, they think it is likely that Darnell Washington will play in the national championship game on Monday against TCU.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
A familiar name is headed to the NFL draft. Eli Ricks, after 1 year in Tuscaloosa, is headed to the draft. He joins 3 juniors that declared at a news conference, and fellow junior Brian Branch, who followed on Monday. Ricks played 10 games this season, made just 5 starts. Of course, he was a freshman All-America in 2020, missed much of his sophomore season due to a shoulder injury, and played just half the season this year in Tuscaloosa. He was not among the top 10 rated cornerbacks by Mel Kiper last month.
Texas A&M!
Freshman defensive end Anthony Lucas is entering the transfer portal, played in just 6 games for the Aggies. He was one of 4 freshmen who were reportedly suspended after the South Carolina game for off-the-field issues, never played another snap. Of course, Denver Harris, Chris Marshall, P.J. Williams were the others. Lucas was a 4-star, the 59th best prospect in the country. He was an Under Armour All-American. He is one of 22 Texas A&M players that have entered the portal since the end of the season.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky defensive tackle Justin Rogers has entered the transfer portal. He's the 4th highest-ranked recruit ever to sign with Kentucky. He signed in 2020, played in 7 games as a freshman, played in all 13 games a year ago, and then broke out this season as nose tackle, but will play his 4th season elsewhere as he is leaving Lexington. He's the 12th Wildcat to enter the portal.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas defensive end Jordan Dominic is the latest Razorback to transfer out. Dominic had previously announced his intention to return in 2023. He transferred in this year from Georgia Tech and was one of the most productive pass rushers in the SEC. He was Arkansas's best pass rusher. He finished 3rd in the league in sacks, but now will look to play a final season elsewhere.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn's defense will return both of its top cornerbacks. Nehemiah Pritchett, who started all 12 games for Auburn this past season, announced he will officially return to the Plains for 1 more season. He has 1 year of eligibility remaining thanks to the COVID year. Previously, DJ James announced his decision to forego the draft and come back, so Auburn returns its top 2 starting corners. Pritchett played in 42 games the last 4 years with 31 starts.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And offensive lineman Javon Gwynn has announced he is officially declaring for the NFL draft. Gwynn just wrapped up his 5th season in Columbia. In 5 years, played in 49 games with 47 starts, but he's calling it a career. He's heading to the pros. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you always get at Gulf Coast Office Products. Proudly selling the Savin line, but they will service all makes and models. Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the ULL Raging Cajuns, and, of course, your Fighting Tigers of LSU. All right, it is after further review. We'll knock out our final break here of hour number 1, and glad to have you hanging out with us. So if you want to get an email or a tweet in, you can join us, Matt, at 1045ESPN.com. You can jump in the Buy Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel, or you can always text in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400 for Gulf Coast Office Products. Well, that's not Gulf Coast Office Products. That's my text line. But Gulf Coast Office Products brings you around the SEC. And sometimes I try to do too many things at once, and I get all discombobulated in my brain. All right, well, now I got a break. In 15 minutes, I want to talk about LSU's quarterback situation that's coming up right at the top of hour number 2. We'll get some of your interaction when we return here on AFR.
AFR.
So pleased to welcome New Orleans Flooring to the AFR family. New Orleans Flooring with 2 locations, New Orleans and in Prairieville now as well. So if you're going south on Airline Highway to Prairieville, it's on the right. You can't miss it. NOLAflooring.com is the website, NOLAflooring.com. If you're looking for new floors in South Louisiana, look no further than New Orleans Flooring. And I'm going to tell you a story. When Erica and I bought our house, there was water damage to the floors. And we've been in that house now for 6 years. We just built into the purchase price of the home that an allowance for the floors to be fixed. And we never did it. And I put it off. And finally, when I saw New Orleans Flooring, I was like, we're going to go with them. They've got 1 million square foot of product in stock. And they cut out the middleman so they can give you not only the highest quality products, but the best prices. You can go by their showroom. You can request an estimate online. If you need flooring, it's New Orleans Flooring. Online, NOLAflooring.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Black Widow Jeep Gladiators in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
Let's go, defense!
We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers.
Get it done. Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I got a text from John who said, Matt, are you going to address the rumor about the wide receiver room and the coaches? Regrettably, I will just very briefly here. Because, and I hesitate to do so because I know that even me saying that right now, like I know this, there are people listening right now or watching who have no idea what you're talking about. Because not everybody is locked into social media. Not everybody is, especially during a holiday, as in tune to this conversation or the rumor that spread. And just me mentioning it is going to make more people aware of what is rumored. So I'm not going to go into all of what was alleged. If you're that interested, Google it. You can find out. But the long and the short of it is, a rumor started that there was an inappropriate gathering that included a student athlete and several members of the football program's staff. And as a result, there were going to be all these changes coming to the staff, etc. I got a call last week telling me that. And I said, well, I guess that's plausible. I don't know if I believe it. The next morning, had another person call me and tell me the same thing, and then more and more started asking. And then I was quite honestly stunned that it took as long as it did to make the rounds like it did publicly. But it finally got to the internet, and people started. Brian Kelly, after the game, was asked point blank if his staff were in good standing. Here's what he said.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes. Look, I hold our players to high standards, and they know that. And we have a high standard. We have a high standard. I've been in it for 3 decades. We have high standards for everybody that's in our program. And that includes coaches and support staff and anybody that's affiliated with this program. And so they're held to that highest of standard as well. And so there are no coaches or support staff that are currently with me that have done anything that would require me to feel as they haven't met the highest of standards that are required within our program.
Now, I understand how the internet works, and for many of you, you're going to ignore that, and you're going to accept or believe that it's reality, and it'll live on the internet forever. The thing that I've said now for several days is, regardless of what you believe, this story will never see the light of day from a credible media outlet. Like, no one is ever going to report this or do a story about it because none of the people involved, or excuse me, none of the people alleged to have been involved in this rumored encounter are ever going to talk about it. So it's like, you can believe it the same way you can choose to believe in Bigfoot, but there's never going to be anything produced that would ever validate that belief. So believe what you want or don't believe what you want. I feel terribly for those who had their names thrown in to something that I don't believe is true about them. And that sucks for them and their families. But that's the nature of the internet and internet media. And it is a gigantic catch-22. And I talk about this often. One of the great things about internet media is that it has eliminated barriers. There is no longer a barrier to entry. For decades and forever have been media gatekeepers. That does not exist anymore. If you have an internet connection, you can spread your content to the world, and that is awesome. That becomes a true meritocracy. The flip side of it is everybody thinks they're friggin' Woodward and Bernstein. And you have stupidity like this that's spread, and it damages people's names, and it's consequence-free. And a lot of people are going to believe it, even when there's no merit to it, because there's literally no evidence. Zero. There is literally zero evidence to suggest that happened. So it is. Okay, that's like, unless something happens, something new comes to light, there's no point in talking about this ever again. Like, so I won't, unless there's something new comes to light. All right, it's after further review. Ben Buller said, Matt, how's the sneaker hustle going? Bubba Abear said, I need the info on the shoes you had on Whiskey and Wine. Wants to wear them for his wedding. How about that? By the way, went to a wedding on Saturday night. Shout out Jordy and Kelly Collada. Got married. Wore my all whites. By the way, listen to this song, Muse. You know the first thing he says. Listen. Well, not the give me two per. When he goes into the verse. You know which ones he shouts out.
I do.
They're the all whites.
They're the all whites.
Or the all whites of Jordy Collada's wedding. Did you think anybody in the world you think would be less likely? Here you go. Boom. Did you ever think there was anybody less likely to wear all white Nike Air Force Ones to a wedding than your boy right here?
Yeah, no, can't say that I did.
I don't believe you. I don't blame you, I should say. I don't blame you at all. Wife gave me a pair of Air Force Ones for Christmas. Never been a sneakerhead. Opened the box. It glowed. I'm hooked. I've already bought 7 more pairs of shoes since Christmas. I'm hooked. All right, hour number 2. Let's talk quarterback.
AFR. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside off the bench anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana Loyal. Always.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL has released a statement saying it continues to be in contact with the medical team in Cincinnati caring for Bills safety Damar Hamlin, who remains in critical condition after suffering cardiac arrest following a hit in the first quarter against the Bengals on Monday Night Football. The suspended game will not be resumed this week. Hamlin's family released a statement thanking the public for their support, the Bills and Bengals, as well as first responders and medical professionals. Many should be lauded for their response, believes our Chris Canty.
It is tremendous the work that the athletic trainers did, the medical staff did, in getting to Damar Hamlin on the field. I thought that the players were aware in that situation, creating a human shield so cameras couldn't see what was going on and giving Damar that privacy in that moment where his life is in the balance. And then, getting him off the field into the ambulance and to the hospital.
Canty and Carlin co-host Chris Canty. Hamlin's GoFundMe page, Chasing M's, which raises money online to buy toys for kids in need, has over $4 million in donations as of today. His original goal was $2,500. A reminder to stay tuned to ESPN Radio and SportsCenter on ESPN TV for the latest on this NFL developing story.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Whatever, kid. I hope you're blessed. Paul, New Year.
Chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
New Year, new me. Muso. 18 minutes away from Muso's favorite time of day. So maybe it's not a new year, new me. Same me. New Year, same me?
That lasted all of like 25 seconds.
New Year, same me?
Yeah.
All right. And Mr. Toby Tomplay, of course. But there he is. All right, Sean Salisbury, 1 hour from right now. Bottom of this hour, where will Sean Payton land? And we're going to take a look at 8 potential landing spots for Sean Payton. We'll get into all that. All right. All right, LSU polished off the 2022 season with an emphatic statement, a 63-7 win over Purdue in the Citrus Bowl. Pretty much everything went right for LSU in all 3 phases of that game. I'll say it again. I know Purdue was shorthanded. They were without Aiden O'Connell. They were without Charlie Jones. They were without their starting tight end, a cornerback, very good players. That ain't why the game ended up 63-7. Because LSU was without 3 starting defensive linemen, a starting cornerback, 2 starting wide receivers. I mean, you were missing a lot of talent as well in this ballgame. Your starting running back didn't play, didn't make the trip. So LSU was shorthanded as well and throttled Purdue. And pretty much everything LSU wanted to do, it did and did well. What was interesting, we learned after the game, is that one of the things LSU wanted to do was play 2 quarterbacks. And Jaden Daniels got the start, and Brian Kelly, after the game, made it clear that the plan was that they were going to play Garrett Nussmeier in the 3rd series. Now, after that, how it would go, don't know. But here was what Brian Kelly said about Garrett Nussmeier's performance.
Yeah, I thought he did well. I mean, and we made it clear he was going to go in the 3rd series, and I didn't know what was going to happen after that, but just made it clear to him, go in, do your job. You got a job to do, get it done, and then we'll roll after that and see how it goes. And obviously he played a lot more. Way the game was kind of trending, he got even more playing time.
So when you look at Garrett's stat line, 11 of 15 for 173, 2 touchdowns and a pick. It is worth noting, and you kind of have to put the little asterisk because 75 yards of it came on the jet sweep to Malik Neighbors, which was not a pass, but it was because it was a shovel forward. It counts as passing yardage. So you have to look at his day sort of sans that. But he was very good. Went in the third series, and boy, did they churn. Noah Cain, 14-yard run, immediately took a deep shot to Malik Neighbors, which was incomplete, that Malik honestly could have caught. Maybe when Malik said after the game he was focused on his 3 drops, that was one of them. The first ball from Nuss was one Malik could have caught, might have scored. Ran it with Noah Cain. They had a 3rd and 8. Malik for 14 yards, which was a beautiful pass by Garrett Nussmeier on a rope. 6-yard pass to Brian Thomas. Another deep incompletion, 3rd and 4. The 17-yarder to Mason Taylor over the middle. Another dart that he threw. And then they got down near the goal line, and Noah Cain scored on the touchdown run. So Nussmeier was efficient on that drive. He came back in on the final drive of the first half, and that's where he threw the touchdown pass to Brian Thomas to go up 35-0. That was the Neighbors to Lacey 45-yarder, but was efficient, sharp, looked good throwing the football. You saw all the things from Garrett Nussmeier that has people excited about it. The arm strength, the tempo, the energy, all of it. It was there. So too was the interception in the end zone. And the thing about Garrett Nussmeier that we've talked about is, and everyone says it, the gunslinger mentality and all that, and that's fine. And you want aggressive. What you can't have is careless or aggressive that hurts you. And if you're going to have the conversation about Garrett and you're going to point out all the things you like, you have to also have the conversation about the thing primarily, singular. That is his gigantic Achilles heel right now, which is his inability to protect the football. He had 2 awful interceptions against Southern. Even the second half against Georgia, slinging the ball around, looking really good. He also made a terrible throw into double coverage, which was intercepted. And you don't pay attention to it because you're down 4 touchdowns. Like, no one's going to point out the interception in the end zone against Purdue because you're beating the crap out of Purdue. But what if you're in a close game and you make that play? And those are the things that have followed him. And it's fair to mention both. And that's what he's got to have coached out of him. For Jaden Daniels, 12 of 17 for 139. He ran it 6 times for 67 yards, along with 37. Jaden did what Jaden does. He protected the football. He took his checkdowns when they were there. He pushed the ball downfield when he needed to, even caught a touchdown pass. So a very productive day for both of LSU's quarterbacks as they played. Now, one of the things that we were talking about, and yes, listen, along with Garrett, if you're going to say credit the good stuff, do it, but also point out the bad. I would say the same with Jaden. You point out the things that he does very well and the things in areas where he needs to grow. Could he be more aggressive? Yes, there was that balance that both of these guys have to do, where Garrett needs to not be careless and you need Jaden to be more aggressive. Both of those things are realities surrounding the 2 players, which are both very good football players. But after the game, Brian Kelly made it pretty clear that he does not see this as a quarterback controversy, but the end of this answer is the thing that's going to generate a lot of conversation.
There's no quarterback controversy. Jalen is our number 1 quarterback. Garrett will get an opportunity to compete, though. And look, the most important thing is when you have 2 really good quarterbacks, you have to have an open mind. You can't be closed-minded when you're looking at 2, elite quarterbacks. So what we've committed to is an open mind and an open process where you can go in and, we're going to give you an opportunity to continue to grow. And then, that's going to allow both of our quarterbacks and Walker to continue to grow as quarterbacks at LSU.
I'm going to come back to something Brian Kelly said there in a second. But first, Brian Kelly was also asked if he believed all 3 guys were going to be here in the spring.
I absolutely 100% believe that all 3 quarterbacks are going to be with us. And all of them we've had conversations with and feel that that's the direction we're going.
Okay. The fact that all three of these guys, again, the coaching staff has had the conversation with the players, expects all of them to be back for spring football. Now, do they all make it to fall? We'll see. But the fact that all three of them, and in particular, we're talking about Nussmeier and Walker Howard, because Jaden is your incumbent. He's announced he's coming back, and he's the starter. The head coach just said it there. Jaden Daniels is your starter. There's no quarterback controversy. The fact that the other two guys are coming back, or let me rephrase, the fact that the other two guys have not entered the portal yet, I think is indicative of the fact that they don't want to leave. Both Garrett Nussmeier and Walker Howard want to be at LSU, which is a great launching point. Okay, it's a great jumping off point for the conversation. Because if those guys are willing to be here and compete and stick it out, great. You need that to begin with. Because in many instances, what you would have seen is, for especially Garrett Nussmeier now, who's going to be going into year 3 with an incumbent ahead of him, he's going to go somewhere else. And if he were going to go somewhere else, he would have already made that decision. I'm not saying he won't, but they're expecting him to be here in the spring. Now, how do you handle that? Now, this is the reality around a quarterback situation where you try to play multiple guys, where you try to appease a lot of guys. It's toxic. The fact that LSU just won a game 63-7, and we're sitting here today having a conversation about who the starting quarterback is going to be, can you appease these guys? You are deflecting from the way the conversation should be about building and growing this team toward being a championship team next year and into the future. Look at every time, I mean, you don't need me to spell this out, but every time there have been multiple quarterbacks or a 2-quarterback system or anything like that, it's a toxic conversation. Clemson just went through it with DJU and Cade Klubnik. LSU went through it back with Jefferson and Lee in 2011. Jefferson was suspended. Lee had the great start of the season. Jefferson came back, kind of took the reins. It was toxic. The team kept winning, but the conversation never went away about who should be playing. So Brian Kelly has a delicate tightrope to walk because he's got there's several doors, right? And behind door 1, he's got Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier and Walker Howard and Ricky Collins, and that's awesome. And in door 2, he's got Jaden Daniels, and maybe Nussmeier leaves. And it's 2 young guys that have no experience behind your veteran. And behind door 3, you've got Jaden Daniels, and maybe both guys leave. And then it's Jaden and Ricky Collins. And y'all, that's basically what happened at LSU in 2018, remember? They brought in Joe Burrow. They went into fall camp. Both Lowell Narcisse and Justin McMillan left, and you were left with Joe Burrow, who had never started, and sophomore Miles Brennan. That was it. And we later learned Brennan was hurt, so Burrow was all you had. Now, it worked out, but that's not where you want your program to be. And so Brian Kelly and his staff realize right now that any of these situations are possible. That they could return all 3 guys, that 1 or 2 could leave, or 1 could leave, or both could leave. And not knowing that answer makes it very challenging to build this room, because what you cannot do if you are Brian Kelly, Mike Denbrock, and the staff is go into 2023 with only Jaden Daniels, who is a running quarterback and who we saw this year take shots and have an ankle injury, and you had to go to your backup, and a true freshman. You can't allow that to happen. So whatever the reality may be, they've just got to acknowledge it, accept it, address it, and then move into the season knowing that. I know there's a lot of people who want Garrett Nussmeier to be the quarterback. And you know how I feel about that. I think Garrett has the potential to be a great player. He's also got little experience and has shown the propensity to make mistakes that kill you. But regardless of how you feel about Nussmeier versus Daniels, the thing where we should all be unified and understanding is you cannot go into next year with only Jaden Daniels. So if it's after spring, if it's before, whatever it is. Now, Brian Kelly's telling you he fully expects all three of these guys to be here in the spring. Okay. They've had the conversations. Great. But coming out of spring, and there's going to be a portal window that opens up after that, you have got to know where these guys stand, and the guys have to know. Because if you try to appease everybody, and you go into the fall, and at some point in fall camp, you pare down reps, and you know who the starter is, and you have a similar situation like you did in 2018, now you're stuck. And that is a horrible situation potentially to be in. So I'm not sitting here telling you have all the answers, because I don't. I'm not scouting the transfer portal every day. I'm not looking at who's out there among the high school ranks. That's why you have a coaching staff and a sports staff and guys that and gals who help build the roster and manage the roster and do all that stuff. But Brian Kelly tells you there's no quarterback controversy. Jaden Daniels is your starter. But they're going to let the other guys continue to compete. That can't bleed into the season. And if you get to the season and you're in a situation where one or both those guys leaves, you're stuck. You can't get to that point. So whatever hard conversations Brian Kelly had with all three quarterbacks after the regular season to know where they stand, you're going to have to revisit that after spring as well. Because if one of those guys leaves, I'm going to say this again, I will continue to say this. If one or both of Walker Howard, Jay Daniels leaves, or Garrett Nussmeier leaves, if one or both of Garrett Nussmeier, Walker Howard leaves, you have got to replace him with a transfer. You've got to make sure that position group stays fortified. And there are so many quarterbacks, so many players, especially quarterbacks in college football, around college football, in the transfer portal, who jump looking for new opportunities. You got to make sure you have depth. It is never, ever, ever a bad thing to have experienced depth at the most important position in team sports. That conversation ain't going nowhere, y'all. You know it well. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, come back, talk some beer with Lee. Stick around.
AFR.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Black Widow Jeep Gladiators in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications. The powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Cornell Toyota in Opelousas is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, for the first time in 2023, the first time in a long time, Lee Feinswog joins us. How are you, Lee?
Hi, Matt. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I have a beer for you later that's well worthy of 2023. It was well worthy of 2022 also.
Do I get to drink it?
Absolutely.
Like right now?
Oh, I'll bring you some.
I think maybe that needs to be our New Year's resolution here, Lee. Every Tuesday, if you're going to talk about this beer, I think I should get to sip the beer while you talk about it during the segment. So the onus would be on you to make sure I have said beer here in studio to sip while you discuss.
As you know, it's hard enough for me to just get on the phone with you for 15 minutes on Tuesday, so much just bring beer.
I know.
But I think that's a good resolution. I think we should work on that. It's been way too long since we had a beer together. I will say that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was the last time we had a beer together? I don't know.
Wow. How are you?
Really good. Enjoyed a week off, but I think this is always indicative that you're doing what you should be doing. Even though I had a week off, which ended up being like 11 days with the holiday and all the sort of stuff, I was like so antsy to get back on air today. Like I don't know that there are many people who after the long holiday are like anxious to go back to work, but I was anxious to be here and be on air today. So a good sign that I'm doing what I should be doing, right?
Well, it says a lot about both sides of it, which is you really appreciated the downtime and you got some good family time. I know one of the things you got to do in there was bring Drew to a basketball game.
We did, yeah.
And hopefully you caught up on some sleep and just enjoyed, like I said, the downtime. But that's the good part about having a job that you really like. And so the mix of the two is good. And I say high fives to you for the balance.
I didn't really get much sleep because I just really don't sleep a ton. So it wasn't really like catch up on sleep time for me. But we did go to the basketball game. Have you gotten to watch? Did you watch the Arkansas game when LSU upset number 9 Arkansas?
I did. I am stunned at the fact, of course, that these guys are 12-1 and are in the situation they're in. I mean, if LSU beats Kentucky tonight, well, that's it's almost as stunning as we were talking about the LSU football team, 6-7 weeks into the season, 8 weeks into the season. The idea of being atop the SEC at potentially 2-0, being 13-1, is staggering considering the rebuild and the cobble together of people that Coach McMahon did. But to your point about the Arkansas game, what I really like about these guys is they play the game and they play it real hard. They're not overly abundantly talented, but they're physical. They have a lot of stick-to-itiveness. And if I may use the analogy, they just play the game with an even keel. They don't tell me every time they make a first down. They don't celebrate every sack. They just play, and they play hard.
I would have believed. So we were at the Arkansas game, and
right.
I would have totally believed you if you said to me that LSU was going to score 61 against Arkansas. I would not have, however, believed you had you said LSU scored 61 against Arkansas and won the game. Defensively, holding Arkansas 23 points below their season average at that point was stunning. It was stunning to watch that unfold the way that it did.
Yeah, we've used the word stunning a few times here, but again, with a caveat, Arkansas did go 4 for 25 from three-point range. And, would that happen again if they played, 5 more times? Is it going to be a lot tougher to beat them up there? No doubt. LSU benefited from Arkansas, just simply couldn't put the ball in the ocean from the edge of the pier. There was that. But I like how hard LSU plays and how even-keeled. I think there's a lot to be said about even-keeled athletes and teams.
Here's the thing. They have great give-a-damn defensively. They're bought in defensively. That's one. 2, they have played nobody in the pre-conference. 9 of their 11 wins were quad 4 games, okay? Like, they basically loaded a schedule with teams that LSU has no business playing, but I understand why they did. I'm not being critical. Matt McMahon had, like, an impossible job when he walked in here, so I get why they did what they did. But, Lee, one of the things that they did was they found themselves in close games a lot and managed to win all of them save one. And the one they lost, they actually kind of won.
And again, it sounds like you're talking about the early LSU football season. Isn't it weird how the two mirror each other in that way? I mean, you were saying the same things 6, 7, 8 weeks into the LSU football season.
Well, the difference is that, obviously they lost to Florida State at the beginning and then found their footing and just played exceptionally well. And they had buy-in. Yes, that is the similarities. You have buy-in for a new coach who has little margin for error, but they're finding ways to win, which is impressive. Now, and Lee Feinswog's with us. They're going to play at Kentucky tonight. I don't know if you've seen Kentucky play at all, but they're un-Kentucky-like so far. They've lost 4. I believe Kentucky's 9-4 right now, and lost their SEC opener to Missouri, who's not a very good team, or not supposed to be a very good team. And,
but also 12-1 and 1-0, just like LSU.
Yeah. But LSU's a double-digit dog there in Lexington.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play. If Kentucky's worth anything in its own mind, and if John Calipari is as good a coach as you think, and this group of thoroughbreds that he has, you would have to expect that they're going to be loaded for bear and really play well and really get after it and make up for that loss for one. I would be surprised if LSU won. It is a tough play. You ever been there, by the way?
I have been to Rupp Arena, but I've not seen a basketball game in Rupp Arena.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of blue, and they're loud, and it's a cool place to watch a game. It's not real intimate, but it's a good place, and they have a good crowd. And going on the road in any conference, in any sport, any time of year is tough. This is still tough coming right out of the holidays. But on the other hand, if LSU wins this game, holy crap. You're right. I mean,
yes.
I couldn't have imagined a month ago that you and I would be talking on this show right after the holidays like this about an LSU team that was 12-1 and an LSU football team that won a bowl game by 50 points. It's like, wow.
Well, the bowl thing, I believe, just because bowl season right now is just it's kind of a sham. It's glorified spring practice.
Can I say it again? Can I get on my soapbox one more time? They're not opting out. They're quitting. I don't begrudge them.
They're opting out. They're opting out.
No, they're quitting. They're quitting. They're quitting on their team, and they're quitting on their college career. I'm not casting aspersions on them, and I'm not saying they're wrong, but stop saying opt out.
When a coach leaves for another job, are they quitting on their team, or are they opting out? Or are they taking a new job?
They're taking a new job.
No, they're quitting on their team by your definition.
I'm
sorry. Did Jeff Brom just quit on his team?
Sure, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
this is conveniently inconvenient to your narrative. Like I do not like holding a kid to a different standard than an adult. Like, if the coach can up and leave for a new job,
I'm not holding him to a different standard. I'm not saying
then why won't you say the coach
quit and go to the draft?
Then why won't you say Jeff Brom? Then why won't you say Jeff Brom quit on his team? Jeff Brom quit on his team.
Okay, say that. That's
Jeff
fine.
Brom,
I'm just saying
and
when
Jeff
I'm
Brom
watching TV,
quit on his team and left them to go get their ass beat 63-7.
I'm sick of listening to TV announcers keep telling me they opted out. They didn't opt out. They quit because they're going to the NFL draft or they're going to go to the transfer portal, and good for them. I don't begrudge them that. It just makes me feel good to say that, Matt. That's all.
Well, then say it about the coaches as well, because Jeff Brom quit on the team that he quit on a bunch of dudes he recruited, quit on a bunch of dudes he has to buy in, and coached all season long, and then quit before the bowl game.
Okay, and I don't disagree with you.
Okay, and I'm cool with it. Go get your bag, bro. But same for the student athlete. If a semantical argument is what you want, fine. They all quit. Who cares? The behavior is perfectly fine.
There you go.
I don't think quitting is good behavior. I don't think they quit. They just took better opportunities that are made available to them through the system. Okay. We got to talk about beer. We're short on time. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Real quick. So, because before you went into that, I was going to, you said if basketball wins tonight, holy crap. Even if they don't, though, next up is at A&M and home against Florida, which I'm not saying LSU will or should be favored in either of those games, but it's plausible they could split those two.
Yeah, you would think those are two teams, they're certainly at least in the bottom half of the overall standings now. And no, I think that the table's been set for LSU to have a nice run. I don't even recall, there haven't been all that many coaches because Dale coached there for so long, and there's been, what is McMahon the fifth coach since Dale Brown?
Well, you had Brady, Trent Johnson, Johnny Jones, Will Wade, and now McMahon.
Yeah. How many of them have won their SEC opener as a first-year coach? I'd like to go back and look that one up.
No. Maybe we'll send Muso to do that work. He's not doing anything right now, right?
There you go.
Muso's got nothing going on.
He's got nothing.
Anyway, but look at this. They'll go Kentucky, then at A&M, Florida. If you split those, you got 2 wins. Then you got Bama. You're at Bama, Auburn, Tennessee, at Arkansas. You're going to lose all those. You play Texas. You play Texas Tech, then you're at Missouri. You'll probably lose those two as well. And then you're home against Bama. You're probably losing that one. But you got 7 games to finish the conference slate that are all winnable. And so just getting 2 out of these first, here from jump, sets up an opportunity at the back end of the schedule to win enough games to punch a ticket to an NIT, which I think would be a really solid year 1 for Matt McMahon if he gets there.
Oh, if LSU goes to the NIT, good, but I don't rule out. I mean, they're good. Hey, they started out already. I mean, look, don't discount the Arkansas loss. Give them credit for it. See what happens tonight. We may talk next week, and you may have a whole different idea of what you might think lies ahead.
If LSU is an NCAA tournament team, then I'll buy you a whole bunch of.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Beer. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use a beer. Beer.
Oh, wait, I forgot one more thing.
Okay.
The team you picked to win the NCAA tournament every year.
Oh, ranked number 1 in the country. Of course, they had a tough loss.
And, of course, for the second year in a row now, they've lost to Rutgers. What's wrong with them?
I don't know, but you know who I'm going to pick to win the national championship again come March?
Yes, I do. Matt Payton.
Okay, good.
Purdue, yes.
There you go. All right. So, Matt, Samuel Adams has its winter lager. Okay? And they're calling it a spiced wheat bock.
Oh.
It's 5.6% alcohol. It is absolutely the prettiest beer you have ever seen. They describe the color as deep ruby and bright. This is the most fabulous lager. It's so good. It's a limited edition, but it's still around. So good. It's available in 6-pack bottles as well. I can't remember where I picked it up here in Baton Rouge, but it is just wonderful. Wonderful. Samuel Adams Winter Lager, like they call it, like I said, a spiced wheat bock. But
spiced wheat bock. I
didn't get it.
Should I wait for a cold snap before I pick some up, or is it good on a 78-degree day?
I'd say yesterday was warm, and I had one of them last night again, and just enjoyed the heck out of it.
My goodness,
I had one of those, and then I went with a Bex because I just love Bex.
I just looked at my weather app to see how warmer. There's a tornado watch right now. That's crazy. Y'all be safe out there, man. I didn't realize we're like in a studio with no windows. I had no idea what the weather was like. So be safe out there. Just enjoy some Sam Adams winter lager there, like our old buddy Lee. Watch some volleyball. And have a night. All right, Lee, thank you as always. We're looking forward to Sports Monday.
Bye, Matt.
I didn't even correct me. Of course, it's Sports 225 is the show. Sports 225 and sports225.com. We appreciate Lee, as always, for having a little fun. Quick break. Where will Sean Payton land? There are 8 possible destinations. We'll talk about it next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. For more than 60 years. Clegg's, look, we've turned the page from Christmas, although you might get lucky because a lot of the Christmas decor that could be out is discounted, and I would need to get into the store to see how much is left, but it's one of those things where you could buy at the end of the season and then just store it in your attic so you get a deep discount on a lot of great decor for next Christmas at Clegg's Nursery. But, y'all, this is the time of year, man. We are into the winter months. It's January. I know it's 70 degrees outside, but this is the time to plant trees. There's fruit trees, there's citrus trees. It's a great time to get by Clegg's, pick up trees or shrubs. This is planting season right now at Clegg's Nursery. So get to any of the 4 locations: Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, the Mid-City location on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs for more than 60 years. Buy local, shop local. Be sure to tell them that Matt sent you in when you go see our friends today at Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice?
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Congratulations to our first, second, and third place finishers in the Bowl Pick'em contest presented by Twin Peaks and Coors Light.
That's where I got my navy and whites too, Paulie.
First place, Matthew Thibodeau, $2,022 cash and a pair of tickets to LSU's home opener against Grambling on September 9th, 2023. Second place, Elvin Gross, 2-night stay at Beau Rivage Resort and Casino, $250 spending cash. And third place, Brianne Callahan, $200 Twin Peaks gift card and a LSU 2019 National Championship commemorative football.
Roger Claiborne said, remember in L.A. we call them G-Nikes, not AF1s. Air Force. I get it, but I don't care. Call them what you want. One thing I will not be is sneaker shamed. I will not be. I'm going to tell you what. If you're that guy, bleep you. Because you know what? When I started getting into the whiskey hobby, there were a lot of people who'll call you a noob and they'll try to shame you. Bleep that. Be welcoming. Be encouraging to someone that's excited about the thing you're excited about and shares your excitement. If you're an OG, welcome that new person in and try to help them explain things, right? That's what I do. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like there's all these people in whiskey, they're like, oh, noob, drinking this, blah, blah. No. This is meant to be enjoyed. Find the thing you like and bleep other people. Like, let's help find the thing that you like. Same with sneakers. I'm telling you, someone asked me, so for those that haven't heard, I'm a sneakerhead now. It's not a joke, by the way. Like I'm being 100% serious. This is not a joke. Wife got me a pair of Air Force Ones for Christmas, blue and whites. And I opened the box. They glowed. I was like instantly in love. I spent basically the entire week off just looking at sneakers. I got, dude, look at my phone. I mean, I got this thing on my phone. I got the sneakers app, the Nike app, the GOAT app, the Adidas app, StockX. I mean, I've been going down the rabbit hole of all these things. Secondary, limited specials, golf, skateboard, SBs, SEs. I'm in it. I'm in it. I love them. I've bought 7 pair of shoes already in a week. I'm averaging a pair a day.
So what about Jordans? Have we ventured into Jordans?
So I got a pair of. So one of the things that I had to get, they have purple and gold Jordan 1s, but they're the mids. But here's what it goes back to, right? Sneakerheads will try to sneaker shame you for wearing the mids because mids aren't in. You got to get lows or highs. Well, I couldn't find, like, some of this is limited. You can't find them. So, like, I would have bought the Jordan 1 purple and gold highs if I could find them. Couldn't. So the mids were available on the Nike app. I bought them. I think I just got a notification that they're here today.
Ooh.
So I guess what I'm wearing tomorrow.
Those.
You know what I'm wearing today? Shout out to the folks at Ruckus. You said you didn't even know Ruckus was still around.
I didn't know that.
So you're like me, grew up in that part of town.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't know that was still a thing.
I grew up in Shenandoah. For those who are not from Baton Rouge, born in New Orleans, we moved here in '89, and like that's the southeast part of the parish, and that was the sticks way back then. But that's where I grew up. Shenandoah, Old Jefferson, went to Most Blessed Sacrament. Like, that's where I grew up. And on Jones Creek, there's a store called Ruckus. So, like, I believe it would have been mid-'90s when, like, flannel and grunge and everything were all the rage. Like, and skaters and whatever, and Tony Hawk. And Ruckus opened. And everybody knows it because the stickers are everywhere.
Yep.
The little wavy RUKUS. I never went in there. I wasn't a skater. Didn't care, right? Well, went in last week. They were super helpful. Shout out to the guys. Because I walked in, and I was like, the guy was like, do you need help? And I was like, hey, man, can we help you? I was like, hell yeah, you can. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm looking at. I said, I got a pair of Air Force Ones for Christmas. I'm hooked. What's a good jumping off point? So they showed me some stuff. I love it, man. I got these. These are Adidas Noras, white and green. Look at them. The green sole as well. Love that.
It's pretty sick.
These are awesome, dude. And then I got a pair of it's the white and navy, and there was a guy who texted a bit ago. He's getting married, who said, he said it's Bubba Abear, who said, I need info on the shoes you had on, whiskey and wine. Those were awesome. Want to wear them with my tux. How about that? And that's the other pair I got at Ruckus. So I went to Ruckus and bought those 2 pairs. So I would always, by the way, rather buy local and support great local businesses. Sometimes you have to go online to find what you're looking for. Get it? That's fine. But if I can support a local business, I will, and the guys at Ruckus were awesome. So shout out to them. And I went to all the stores in town. I went to Cards and Culture, went to Sneaker Politics. So people think I'm joking. This ain't no joke, bro. I'm serious. Someone said, are we going to have some people have asked for a sneaker segment. Look, we do the whiskey segment on the show, but I want to clarify. Oh, we went really long with Lee. I was supposed to do the Sean Payton thing.
Yeah,
I'm out of time. What in the world happened here? Oh, I went long talking about the quarterbacks is what I did. Okay, anyway, real quick. The whiskey segment with Taylor, that was born out of quarantine. Remember, like, we were still working when everybody was quarantined, and alcohol sales during quarantine went kaboom. And so we did, and there was nothing going on. I mean, there was no live sports. So everybody was drinking a lot. And so we did the segment with Taylor, and it was very popular. And after quarantine, we just kept doing it. I don't know that I need to do a sneaker segment, but I only brought that. Why did we even bring that up?
What, the sneaker segment or the sneakers again?
No, just now. Why did that? I don't know why that came up. Someone texted me about it. Yeah, said, I can't remember who texted me. I'm trying to find it now. It's a long, long list in there. It doesn't matter. Whatever. See, and this guy John said, I saw the nonsense on social media. Oh no, I think that was about something else. Never mind, John. Never mind. I thought he meant my sneakers were nonsense. Look, my thing is,
rude.
Do what you like. I don't like hunting, but I don't begrudge anybody who wants to hunt. Go hunt. Buy your guns. Buy your ammo. Go sit in the stand and wipe blood on your face and shoot a deer. I don't want to do it with you, but God bless you. If it makes you happy, go do what makes you happy in this life. All right, we're brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com. Jim and the gang over at Mold Zero, awesome people, man. We're moving here. Look, today's an awfully rainy day, and a lot of times we know what happens in South Louisiana. Rain, humidity, it breeds mold. If you got mold or think you might, call Mold Zero. Guy Jim, all the gang over at Mold Zero. They'll come by. They'll always give you that free estimate. The thing that I would like to point out, of course, is they service Greater Baton Rouge and Greater New Orleans. So whichever you're in, make sure you call the right number. So go to the website, mold-zero, spell it out, Z-E-R-O, mold-0usa.com, top of the page, Baton Rouge, New Orleans phone number, so you get the right number that you need to. It's easy. They come in, they spray their non-toxic, patented dry fog. Let the fog dwell, about 2 hours to dissipate. Once it dissipates, go back in your house, your office building, whatever it is, free and clear, mold-free, smelling clean. It's Mold Zero, mold-0usa.com. Okay, I am going to have to shuffle some stuff here. Muse is going to have Tigers in the pros. We got Sean Salisbury in hour 3. I want to talk about the Sean Payton thing. Maybe I don't think I can do this quickly in the next segment. That's going to take some time to elaborate. Maybe we'll get to that at 5:30. So we'll shuffle a little bit, but we'll come back and Muse will do Tigers in the pros. We're glad you're here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, our first show of 2023. Wishing you and yours a very happy new year and glad you are here with us on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done here in 2023. If you've been injured in an accident, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done, what thousands of Louisianians have done across our state for so many years, for 30 years. Get Gordon, get it done. Gordon did so much for our community, of course, around the holiday season with the bike giveaway, which was awesome. You've seen all the stuff on social media with the G Team, members of the G Team delivering bikes to communities all throughout the state, which was just so awesome to see. And it's another reason why we talk about Get Gordon. It's not just, of course, helping injured people in our state, but Gordon always says, man, he's been incredibly blessed to have the success that he has, and he wants to give back. That's why there's the Gordon Gives arm of the firm, and they give back in so many ways. NIL has been a huge part of that, partnering with so many student athletes, not only with the Tigers, but all around the state of Louisiana, joining the G Team. You know what to do. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault, and you need help, get Gordon and get it done. Go online to getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2022 Ford F-150, plus no payments for 90 days and 2.9% APR for 72 months. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I've got that blue sky, I've got that sunshine.
There it is, the extra mile on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. We're going to move quickly here. Sean Salisbury, after the top of the hour, will certainly get his thoughts on the New Orleans Saints' future of the quarterback situation. Could the trade for Derek Carr be imminent? Where does Sean Payton land? All that with Sean Salisbury after the top of the hour. Right now, Musso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right. Let's go back to Sunday. Do a little bit of NFL. A couple performances you want to mention. Let's start with Grant Delpit because he was on fire for the Browns in their 24-10 win over the Commanders. 7 tackles for Delpit. 1 tackle for a loss. The big number, though, 2 interceptions for Delpit. That's 3 interceptions in his last 2 games. If you're scoring at home, of course, had the interception and a long return against the New Orleans Saints a couple weeks ago. Deion Jones, his teammate, not to be outdone, registered 4 tackles in that game, with 1 of them coming for a loss. Again, the Browns victorious 24-10 over the Commanders. For the New England Patriots and their victory over the Dolphins, Devon Gottschall was the star from LSU. 4 tackles in the game, 2 of them solo. For Miami, Duke Riley, no statistics in the game there. NBA action last night. We'll start with the Brooklyn Nets, who are on fire. Ben Simmons, 24 minutes in the game, 4 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals. So stuffing the stat sheet in a victory. Cam Thomas got 12 minutes off the bench, shot 4 of 5, 9 points in the game, 2 rebounds, and 2 dimes of his own. 139-103 Nets over the Spurs. The Houston Rockets, who come to the Smoothie King Center tomorrow night. Tari Eason.
They stink.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yes, they're 10-27. They're not very good. Tari Easton's pretty good, though. 16 minutes off the bench, only 2 points, but did grab 7 rebounds in the game to attempt to help the Rockets win that one against the Mavericks. They did not. And for the Minnesota Timberwolves last night, Naz Reid did not play, back spasms, so we'll keep you updated on that. Bit of a bummer. Naz had been playing really, really well. Something like 2 double-doubles in his last 3 games.
Had he stayed, wouldn't have those back spasms.
Probably not. A couple more years in the system. Conditioning.
Anti-back spasm conditioning is what would happen.
So I'll keep you updated on Naz and his back. He's got a back.
He's got a back.
He's got a back.
You hate to hear it.
You do.
He's got a back.
That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. New year, but the same red box. Gentlemen, if you want to thrill her, give her a gift in that beautiful red box. Go to the website, hit the engagement rings tab. If it's about time to pop the question, nobody better than Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Nobody has a better selection of the highest quality diamonds in the world at a better price than Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, and you will always get the Lee Michaels experience. Online, lmfj.com. That's lmfj.com. for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it is After Further Review. We're going to kick off hour number 3 with Sean Salisbury. You know what? I'll ask Sean a couple things. Number one, a lot of the Derek Carr to the Saints rumors started last week while I was out. Muse, did y'all talk about that at all, the Derek Carr stuff last week?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
I don't even know how that would be possible considering his contract. If you've looked at the money on his deal, there's no way you're trading for Derek Carr. He's got like $30 million to $40 million plus on his contract over the next 3 years. The only way is if they cut him and then you sign him to a new deal, which is plausible, but the Saints trading for Derek Carr, no shot. But how would it fit on the field? We'll talk about that with Sean. And I do want to get Sean's thoughts on landing spots for Sean Payton. I mean, I have 8 of them here, and curious what he thinks might be the spots. We'll get to that with Sean Salisbury to kick off hour number 3. All right, y'all. It is After Further Review, a first show of 2023, and we're glad to have you aboard with us here. We'll knock out a break. SportsCenter coming up with national headlines. Hour 3 is next.
AFR.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Black Widow Jeep Gladiators in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Ring in the new year with no markups and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corvell Toyota family to yours.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the one-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications. The powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution. A network built for every possibility. Moving faster than ever before. Streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL has released a statement saying it continues to be in contact with the medical team in Cincinnati caring for Bills safety Damar Hamlin, who remains in critical condition after suffering cardiac arrest following a hit in the first quarter on Monday Night Football against the Bengals. Commissioner Roger Goodell has informed the teams their suspended game will not be resumed this week. The league has made no decision regarding the possible resumption of the game at a later date. In addition, the NFL hasn't made any changes to the Week 18 regular season schedule. Hamlin's family, via a statement, has thanked the public for their support and asked for continued prayers for Damar. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin.
Man, it's a really personal thing for me, being a Pittsburgher, and that young man being a Pittsburgher. I've known that guy probably since he was about 12. Just got a lot of respect and love for him as a human being, his commitment to the pursuit of his goals and dreams of doing what it is he's doing right now, which is playing in the NFL.
Steelers coach Mike Tomlin. Stay tuned to ESPN Radio and tune into SportsCenter on ESPN TV for the latest on this story.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by me. We're brought to you by. What am I doing? I got to get back in my flow. Yeah, take a week off. It's been like 11 days.
And you were so happy to be back.
I am happy to be
and
back.
Now you're just.
But there's a lot formatically that, it's just on autopilot in your brain when you're doing this, and then you're off, and it's like, that's gone. I got to get a lot of that muscle memory back. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. Okay, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Make it a good one. Great way to start off the new year. First show of the new year. Great opportunity to welcome back Sean Salisbury. As bowl season's just about done and the NFL is wrapping up week 17, heading into week 18 with a lot still on the line. Sean, always appreciate you, man. Happy New Year. How are you?
Matt, Happy New Year. I'm good. Appreciate you. It's great to be on with you.
Always, man. Hey, I'm sure you were locked into the Cotton Bowl yesterday. I don't mean to bring up a Band-Aid off the wound type thing, but people down here, obviously, 2 lanes an hour away, and a lot of people were locked into that game. Thoughts, reaction to what you saw in that Cotton Bowl game?
Do everything you can to keep the head coach. Don't let him get away ever. He is. Man, you don't do that in high school. To turn around a program like that, it is epic what he's done. And yesterday, and I'm not saying it because my Trojans, but considering the, a New Year's Six bowl game, playing against the best player in America this year, and where they came from 2-11 to 12 wins this year, I thought he did a fantastic job. He's a guy I'd like to play for. It's not listen. They just don't play defense at SC right now. They just don't. They've got what's ironic is they lead the nation in the plus-minus ratio and turnovers. The nation's leading sack guy, but they can't tackle anybody in space, and they'll make silly decisions like the fair catch down at the 1.5-yard line. They seem to always allow you to hang around even when they score 40 or 45. That's the reason they didn't play. Listen, if you're just going by offense, we're playing 7-on-7. The Trojans win it all, right? It's 7-on, but we don't play 7-on-7. They can't get off the field. We're not grabbing flags. It's tackle football, and they've got talented guys there, but it just takes away because that's why Utah beat them. And you saw Utah couldn't tackle Penn State, and they had their troubles. And now, but the Trojans, until Lincoln Riley, until the same, I don't want to say commitment because I know they want to play defense, but until they get that same dominance, that physicality at the point of attack in the interior on their defensive side, front seven, those guys, and be able to tackle in space, they're going to come up shy. They're going to look great. They're going to be a highlight film every week because the quarterback and the way they can, in space, do all the things offensively. Just as good as they are in space offensively, they're that bad defensively. But that's when you say that, automatically, it's Tulane. Listen, I knew it was going to be a tough one going in. Point spreads and all that, even though it was a close spread. I love the way Coach Fritz has them going. I think this team believes that they're one of those teams, as resilient a team we don't talk about in the country as there is, and it has nothing to do with me coming on with you. I knew it was a danger game. I knew they were going to play. I knew it was never over, and they can score, and I think they love playing for that coach. So the number one priority is make sure that dude doesn't get away because he's going to have offer after offer year after year. This is one of the great turnarounds in football. It was great to see, even though it was at the expense of my alma mater.
Man, I'd imagine you had to be. I'm sure you were back and forth also with the bowl down in, I forget what they call it now, honestly, but the bowl down in Tampa that used to be the Outback Bowl. What a great way to honor Mike Leach, not just with the win, but everything that transpired that day.
Yeah, and Mike would get a kick out of it. And I loved what Will Rogers said. Like, Mike wouldn't have been too pleased with us if we'd have lost this game. It comes down, a drive where you got to get a couple completions and give your guy a chance. And, it was just – and you know what, I was not even just that, but throughout college football, Maddie, with all the people stickers on helmets, we've discussed this, but look at the tree of players and coaches and assistants and how this is reflected. Mike told me a handful of years ago. He said, Sean, we're already doing a lot of this stuff. They're doing it at the NFL level. It just looks different because we're not running the guys like Brady, but what Brady and those guys were doing at late New England and early in Tampa, that with shallow crossers, Leach has been doing that forever. We always said it couldn't work. Well, it's working every week. So, yes, it was great to see Mississippi State win. It was great to see the tribute and how Mike's impact, not only as a coach, but as a human being. And we're going to miss that great personalities. I know you and I talked about a couple weeks ago and what he meant, but the legacy is going to live on, as you had mentioned as well, for a long time, because it was nice to see them go out like that. And I know the emotion ran rampant, and to see how they took care of their business and just the whole way college football with, with Mike Leach's name or a pirate sticker on helmets of places he's never coached.
Yeah.
Ole Misses. So that tells you what Mike Leach meant to football. And we're going to be hard-pressed to find somebody who was able to combine humor with a way of sending a loud message by folding up chairs without saying anything and making us laugh, but also coaching his ass off on the field. Hard-pressed to find somebody like Mike Leach anytime soon.
Sean Salisbury is our guest. We'll get to some NFL talk in the next segment. A couple more on college and the bowl season. Of course, LSU blew out Purdue. We know there were circumstances around it, but even still 63-7. I don't think many of us saw that coming. Brian Kelly was pretty adamant after the game. He said there is no quarterback controversy. Jaden Daniels is the starter, but what he said, Sean, was they're still going to give Garrett Nussmeier the opportunity to compete, and the plan was to give Garrett the third series all along and see what happened after that. Sean, I think that we're all a little perplexed here. They're expecting all three quarterbacks to be back in spring, but how can you have a starter but allow the other guy to compete? It feels like they're – I don't know, man. It feels like you could be embarking on some toxic territory right now where if you don't – what they say, if you don't have one guy, you don't have any.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, I agree, man. Listen, we're at a time now, and I hate it. And, Brian understands, and you got to massage it, which is not something you and I have to like, or the players. Is the truth is, and you and I both know this, if there's no quarterback controversy, you're not getting the chance to compete. I've been on those teams, brother. in college at Southern Cal. And that way I know when I had the job and blown out my knee, even though they say I will come out and somebody will spring, but you knew I was fortunate that I knew that the commitment was mine. There was competition, but the competition was kind of against ourselves. I'm just using me as an example,
right,
that there wasn't competition at the time, right? Even though they say, but times have changed. So people weren't transferring every day. So not only do you have to recruit guys at high school or from the portal, now you got to keep the guys you've already recruited 2 years ago to keep them happy, or 3 years ago, or what have you. So the truth is, and this is not to call Brian a liar or anything, it's the landscape that you're telling people you're going to compete, when in truth, all three are not going to get a chance to compete, because that means you're taking away reps from the guy you need to be ready to play. You want a solid backup. We see how important that is. We saw in the Utah game how important it is to have or not have that guy. You've seen it in the NFL. We see it all the time. So Brian has to say it. I personally don't think there's a quarterback controversy right now either. I know who should be starting, and that doesn't mean the other guys aren't good, but the problem is, how are you going to see all that time and still give the guy who's made great strides this year a chance to make even more next year to put you in, again, the national title hunt? So I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to be hard to convince them all to stay.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting anything, but we're at a landscape now that if somebody feels like they're being either misled, even if it's not intentionally misled, but you can't speak on one side and say, yep, it's a competition, and then on the other side say there is no competition. You can't have both, because there's not enough snaps to go around for three cats, especially when one of them has made great strides. I mean, I'm just speaking to the starter, that he's going to have to lose the job. Somebody's not going to take it from him.
He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. You'll give him a follow. It is Sean Salisbury with us every Tuesday. Let me knock out a quick break, come back, and we'll switch gears, talk some NFL as we always do. Really want to get Sean's take on the Derek Carr conversation, as that rumor picked up last week about the Saints maybe being interested in bringing in the Raiders quarterback. And then also, where might Sean Payton land? Job that could be open is in Houston, where Sean lives. Could that be a landing spot? We'll talk about that with Sean Salisbury as we continue next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Now, Rouse's.com, or you can always download the Rouse's app. You know that as well. Curbside delivery and pickup options. So go to the Rouse's app, hit the delivery or pickup tab right there, select your items, your personal shopper will pick them out, bring it out to your car when you pull up in the designated space. Or, of course, you can always have items shipped to you or delivered to you there from Rouse's. But y'all, it's a new year, and it means in Louisiana, it's king cake season, y'all. And nobody does it better than Rouse's. And Rouse's not only has king cakes available in store, but Rouse's will ship those king cakes anywhere in the country. So go to Rouse's.com, and that's Rouse's.com. You see it right there on the homepage. If you want to pick out that king cake, have it shipped anywhere in the country, filled, traditional, black and gold. They got so many options. Learn more right now online, Rouse's.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad to have you back with us here, and glad to have Sean Salisbury rolling along with us as always. Sean, I want to dive into some NFL convos. I want to start specifically with the Saints and this 3-game winning streak, and whether or not, from an sort of outside looking in perspective, the way the Saints have sort of steadied over the last month, has that changed your outlook on Dennis Allen as the head coach of this team at all?
You know, it's a phenomenal question, and while it's different record-wise, here in Houston, just to give you a comparison, while they only got 2 wins, you started to hear whispers about, well, they're starting to play better, that if they were able to close out the season strong, it shifts the paradigms and shifts with recency bias. And I asked a pretty close insider last week about this very question, and I said, does recency matter to it? And he goes, sure, it matters. And a lot of times it gets people hired or fired, Matty. We know that depending on which way you flow with the wins and the losses. I can't be skewed by recency bias because I take into account what the other team's doing, what's it look like, every player on tape. Not that they're hard to win. The wins are hard to come by, but are they buying in? I want to know from players how they're buying in. And I do learn a lot, though, at the end of a season. If you're not going to make the playoffs, or even if you're hovering, you got your golf clubs in the trunk of your car, or you're checked out, I evaluate coaches and players equally as hard when things are going bad, even more so than when they're going good, because it's easy for anybody to go to work when things are going good. Yep. And sometimes you can take that for granted. But, recency comes into it, especially if they're quantum leaps and you say, okay, we feel like we've turned a corner and we're headed into turn 4 and it's shifting around. Yeah, I do believe that becomes part of the narrative and part of the conversation. But the other side for me is I'm a full body of work guy. Why weren't we like this in week 3? And is it just because it took a while to get in? The staff, do we look at all that? You got to judge the running back coach and the middle line, the linebacker coach, all these things as well as the head coach. So I look at the full body of work. We had talked about this, about Dennis. I need to know. I'm not worried about the fans sitting in the 7th row. I can't, Matt. As much as I respect them, or me and you on the media, we're not making those decisions. If you listen to us, we act more on emotion. If you're the front office and ownership, you have to go in and evaluate fairly. Where did we make the steps? Where's the leadership? And will it permeate into next year? Is it players, coaches, both? If you feel like you have maximized the building and this is what you're getting, a 500 type of team with that talent, then you're going to have to make a change, because that's not the ceiling that they expect in New Orleans. If you feel like he maximized it, then you got to make a change. If you say, well, he's getting closer, we have made some headway, then you have to evaluate. But I'm a full body of work guy. I don't think it's fair. If they go win 9 and lose 4 in a row, I'm not automatically firing the guy. And if they lose 8 in a row and win 5 in a row, I'm not sure they're over the hump. I'm still evaluating it hard, and I'm looking at all my options. What makes me better? I do it at every position, and I take an emotion out of it, and I do it with my head coach and every individual that's coaching each position and coordinators as well.
I think it's fair. Does quarterback will matter tremendously, and you and I have talked about it all season. Yeah. Andy Dalton is not the future. We know that. So there's this conversation about Derek Carr, right? He's clearly going to be out in Las Vegas. Would he make sense in New Orleans?
As a lifelong Raider fan, you can imagine since he's come in the league, man, it's not a pound of the back. I've watched probably, if not every throw. I haven't missed many of them. Okay, even the ones where the game's over either way. So I've seen a lot. There are times I watch Derek Carr, and this is probably going to make the answer. I watch him and I say, "You got a franchise guy." And then there are times for stretches over games, I'm like, what's going on here? And I know it changes in coaches. Something's missing. That's something. Now his numbers always, he puts up good numbers, and he seems to love. He's passionate, loves to compete. I didn't like staying home. Whoever choice it was, if it was mutual, that bothers me that you're not in the building supporting. So is he butt hurt, or is it the coaching staff, or is it both? They just said stay home. That's for another conversation. Derek Carr is a good player, but I think there's a handful of Derek Carrs in the league. I think you can have flashes of it. I don't think as a starting quarterback, Derek Carr is going to put a Super Bowl ring on, but I do think he's a good player. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't think he's a franchise changer. I think he's a guy that you say he's going to hover. Man, sometimes he creeps up near the top 10 and put up numbers, and then there's sometimes he's like he lets you down. Now, do I think he got curb stomped and I confess he did it on him in Las Vegas? Oh, yeah. It wasn't just him. But you saw a little bit different energy. Now, that could be one game. Could they sustain it for next year with this quarterback or somebody else? So do I think he's an upgrade? I do. Do I think that there's better options if you could pull off a trade and or if you were in this drafting high? Yes. But you'll win more with Carr than you're going to win with Andy Dalton. But they're kind of similar. They've in their careers get you to the playoffs once in a while, even though Dalton got them there more. And then you're like, man, he's a good player. And then like, oh, we got to make a change. So that's probably your answer. It's the ability to consistently be inconsistent. Although I think he deserves more respect. I don't like the way it ended on either side, and it is going to end. But yeah. I don't think you're getting a program changer. And the things that bother me is that the offense seemed to move with one guy getting his first start too easy against the best defense on the planet. And so what's missing? Is there leadership missing from him? The Raiders got to look long and hard into it, and Derek Carr is not your franchise changing answer. And he's going to break your heart one week, and he's going to throw for 400 the next, and he'll put up numbers, but the numbers at times may be hollow. It's not going to equal a visit in February, I wouldn't think. But you'll be impressed with some of the things he does. That's just him. That is who he is.
If Carr is not the answer, and I think most people here, Sean, are wanting and agree, the Saints have to draft a quarterback. Like they just, you have to. And that may become easier because of Sean Payton. The Saints reportedly won a first-round pick from a team for the rights to Sean Payton. What do you see? For sure. But what is realistically out there? Like the Texans may move on from Lovie Smith, but they're not going to give up the number 1 overall pick for Sean Payton. So what is realistic?
But here's what I do. First of all, it's so funny you talk about Sean Payton. Listen, there's players that are that guy, right? A guy or that guy. Maybe that goes to Carr too. He's not that guy. He's a guy. Mm-hmm. And with Sean Payton, the great point is, and you kind of answered it for me, when you're looking at, you got to draft a franchise changer, a program changer in college. We got quarterbacks that do it. Their hands on the ball 70 times a game. And there are coaches that are that. Sean Payton's the equivalent to your top 5 pick in this draft. He's going to be the most available. He's not a free agent, but the most available guy to get this offseason that can change your franchise with a couple of the right people. So now, no, you're not changing the first pick, but let me throw this at you. You see, if I'm the Houston Texans, just like we don't think, Carr's the answer or Andy Dalton's the answer, maybe not Dennis Allen. I like Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith is not going to maximize the building. He's a good coach, but they're not going to win a Super Bowl with this staff. you got a clean house. So I said, offer Sean Payton $15 million, offer a high pick to the Saints, and go get him and allow him to choose the guy he wants, and go get Bryce Young. Once you get look at Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence, it's taken a year. They went from last place, first pick in the draft, to now they're going to more than likely win this division. So it can change with the right quarterback, and Bryce Young has got an it factor that the guys we've mentioned don't right now. And on the other side of it, we know who Sean Payton is, and you have to have a guy that if you're going to get a quarterback, knows how to bring out the best in him all the time, consistent, and make plays and make the common play look common and the uncommon play look common. Bryce Young's that. I said, pay him $12, $15 million, offer the Saints what you got to offer him, let him pick the quarterback, and let's go. You want to change your franchise, do it. So if I'm the Saints, if you're the Texans, well, you remember you got Cleveland's 10th or 11th pick. Is Sean Payton not a bigger guarantee than the 11th edge, the third best edge rusher in the draft at the 11th pick? Why wouldn't you give him if that's what it's really going to take? If it's not going to take a second rounder but a first rounder, isn't Sean Payton in truth the equivalent of and going to bring the same value as a team's pick? So let's say you do that and you can draft C.J. Stroud, or because Stroud maybe now with his performance he may have jumped in. You may have to go higher to get him, but why not offer that and then let the Saints deal with what they're going to deal with after that? You're not going to get the first pick. I wouldn't trade that for Sean Payton, but I would consider Sean Payton for the 10th, 11th, 12th pick in this draft. I definitely would there.
What about the Cardinals?
I think that's the great thing position he's in. He's that guy who can call his shots. You know, who's to say Mike McCarthy? What if they get curb stomped in the first round?
Yeah, I was going to ask about Dallas.
What if the Dallas but Jerry's weird about that. Jerry likes to have a lot of control over Dave Campo, over Jason Garrett, maybe over Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn. Would he have the same control over Sean Payton? Doubtful. So, but if you want to win, Payton and with that offense, hell, they'll lead the league. I mean, they'll be better than they are now, and they've got a good offense. So, Arizona, the question for me is simple. Do you believe Kyler Murray can get you where you want to go? Because think about this, at least the talk about Kyler Murray. In that contract, the team didn't believe it. Does he prepare? Sean's a preparation fanatic, and he knows what he had in Drew Brees. Can he get that same commitment to being great, not good, off the field and in this film room that Drew Brees gave Sean Payton and that Sean Payton's going to expect from Kyler Murray? And they're locked in with Murray because they paid him. So with that in mind, I think the intrigue of Arizona, where it's at, you've got some good receivers, you've got some good players. The question is, it's going to come down, in my opinion, do you trust the ownership, and does that quarterback give you a chance to win quick? Sean Payton, I don't believe, is going to Carolina to work with different quarterbacks and hope that Sean Payton needs a guy he believes is a franchise changer because he knows he is. And whoever that is, pay to get him, give the Saints a first rounder, everybody wins. If I'm a team like the Texans, take the decision-making out of his hands. Offer him so much and so long that you just say, we got to go all in with him and the quarterback. And if you're the Saints, I would hold teams hostage. I'd make sure it's a first-round pick from somebody. I'd give him a coach away, especially when he'd still be there if he didn't leave the league.
I can't see the Saints allowing Payton to go in the division. I couldn't see him going to Carolina, or some people mentioned Tampa to unite with Brady. Why would the Saints allow him to go within the division?
No, I would see Brady leaving Tampa quicker than I'd see Tampa allowing Sean Payton to be in Tampa. We'll see how this playoff goes for Brady, but if I'm doing that, then the price tag goes. If I'm dumb enough to trade him into the division, even though you may have to run into him at some point, playoffs or what have you, then it's going to be worse on you. I'm going to make sure I charge you more to get him because I'm not letting him to Carolina or Tampa, and I'm not sure Tampa's going to let Todd Bowles go after 1 year. A couple of these other teams, I think Cliff's job and Lovey's job, we already know Arizona's open, Carolina more than likely. Sean Payton's the guy that'll be able to determine, in truth, if he were to tell somebody that wanted their coach back that were kind of in flux and say, I want that job, I'm not so sure that a team that's teetering wouldn't say, oh, okay, you're fired, let's go get Sean Payton. But Arizona's tempting. I think it would have been the Chargers all along had they not made the playoffs because of Herbert and San Diego or L.A., but I think Arizona's real. and I think that a couple teams will jump in that maybe we're not even talking about. We'll see how the firing goes, but I'm willing to give up a mid-first-round pick for Sean Payton. I think he's worth it.
He is Sean Salisbury on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Make sure you're following him. Great content, as always, and joins us here on Tuesdays during the football season. Sean, we always appreciate you, man. Again, Happy New Year. Thanks, as always, for the time. We'll do it next week.
My pleasure. Great to be on with you again, brother. Thank you. Happy New Year. All
right, man. That is Sean Salisbury. This is AFR. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. You know where to find them. With 29 offices across 11 different states, it's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. I wanted to give a big shout-out also to Joel McMullen and all the great people over at Michelli. They were great sponsors of ours all season long during Whiskey and Wine. They were a presenting sponsor for every episode we did. So I know a lot of people really enjoy the post-game show that T-Bob and I do. Good, it's not for everybody, but the numbers it did are just enormous. And, you know, we do it because we have great people like Michelli who are willing to sponsor it. So many, many thanks to Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Just wrapped up their 75th anniversary. Now it's on to 76 years and not slowing down anytime soon. You weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure, and they service all scale and measurement equipment, makes and models for whatever industry it may be, whatever needs you have. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Online at Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. All right, always appreciate Sean Salisbury. Just great insight, man. A guy that's just played at the highest level and has been an analyst at the highest level, and we get half an hour with Sean Salisbury, we're always going to take it. I do want to give you a thumbnail on LSU Kentucky basketball, which is tonight. Tigers are 1-0 in the league. Kentucky 0-1. Not sure many people would have seen that, but it's a 7 o'clock tip from Rupp Arena. We'll give you a thumbnail on that game. There's a couple of other things we didn't get to. I wanted to go deep dive into the Sean Payton situation about where he may land, because really I think you're looking at 8 spots. I think there are 8 NFL jobs that are or will become open with Black Monday, next Monday, after the ending of the regular season. And Sean Payton's going to land somewhere. I think we all agree on that when it's all said and done. So there could always be a surprise spot as well. So I want to get into some of that. Glad to have you aboard with us here. It's a Tuesday edition of AFR, the first show here of 2023, and glad to have you hanging out with us here as always. Stick around here with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. And right now, it's so bizarre because a week ago, temperatures, the Christmas week, temperatures were in the 20s and the teens. Now temperatures are in the 70s. So you're jockeying back and forth from heat to AC, heat to AC. Well, that can cause wear and tear. It can cause functionality issues. River City's 1 Hour Air can service your home central AC or your heater if you run into any issues. And it's one of the reasons I always mention, make sure you join their maintenance club and get that standard maintenance done. So it's just like an oil change for your engine in your car. Make sure that you're keeping it running efficiently, affordably, and safely. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Great 5-star review from Edward K., who said same-day appointment, had to acquire repair part, made repairs as needed. System is fully functional in less than 10 hours from the repair request submission. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications. The powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution. A network built for every possibility. Moving faster than ever before. Streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Here's the direct snap to Emery, and the end around to Neighbors. He's going to throw it Philly special style to Jaden Daniels for the touchdown.
How about that? A Malik Neighbors touchdown pass to Jaden Daniels. So interestingly, with that, Jaden Daniels, the touchdown reception, became the first quarterback since at least World War II. This goes to show you just how that game was going. When Daniels caught that touchdown pass, put LSU up 42-0 early in the third quarter. It was such a blowout. I'm sitting there at Don Juan Cigar Bar, like just searching on the college football reference website, every LSU quarterback I could think of in my memory to see if any of them caught a touchdown pass. Like that's how much of a I'm Googling Chad Loop statistics at Don Juan Cigar Bar. I mean, throw it, whichever one you can think of. Like David Woodley, Jeff Wickersham, Alan Risher. We're like throwing them up. Did any of these guys, and a lot of people pointed out Matt Flynn, who did catch a pass, remember, at Alabama on the trick play, but he fell down, faked the injury because he had busted his chin strap. But very heady play by Matt Flynn. But that did not catch a touchdown. So Jaden Daniels, the first quarterback at LSU since at least World War II, as far back as statistics are kept, that has a passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown. So a little bit of history made there with a trivia question, I guess, there with Malik Neighbors' touchdown pass to Jaden Daniels. All right, it's after further review. Brian Kelly, after the game, of course, wins 10 games. A great way to polish off a season one at LSU where, man, projected win totals before this season, depending on where you got it, was 6.5, 7. LSU was literally picked to finish dead last in the SEC West. I'm sorry, they were picked to finish 5th in the West. Forgive me. They were picked to finish 5th in the West. And they win the West. They go to Atlanta. They beat Alabama. So much good coming out of this first year. So much unexpected good out of year one with Brian Kelly. And he was asked to reminisce a little bit on what stood out about his first year in Baton Rouge.
Probably the relationships with the players and developing, new relationships with, 115 players and getting to know them. That, to me, in year one, the first time here, you don't know any of the players, and they don't know you. I think our first press conference, I keep saying press conference, our first meeting said, hey, we're going to build trust, but it's going to take time for both sides. And I think that's what happened. And I'll remember that in year one, that process of building trust.
You do hear that from coaches a lot, is when you're new and you're standing in front of a room of 120 college athletes who you didn't recruit, by and large. I mean, I get it, there were some transfers, et cetera. But a bunch of guys that don't know you, didn't commit to playing for you, didn't sign with you, and now they're looking at you. I mean, you got to get those guys to buy in, and that's no easy task. And that's in any sport. That's in football. That's in basketball. It's in literally any sport when you take over. And so that year one sometimes is a challenge because you have pushback, you have turnover, you sometimes struggle to get buy-in. But maybe the most impressive thing of this year with Brian Kelly was his ability to get buy-in from the beginning. And when it could have gone very badly after the Florida State loss, it could have been, because remember, Brian Kelly came in, y'all, and was doing all these like bed checks and asking these guys to fill out diaries every day of health checks and wellness deals and just all accountability, just all this very seemingly elementary stuff. Like the way I kind of compare it is, when you're in elementary school and you go to lunch, like you go with your class and you walk in single file and you put your finger over. This is how it was when I was a kid. You put your finger over your mouth because nobody can talk, right? It's very orderly because when you're 9 years old, like you need that structure. And then you get to high school, well, the bell rings, then you go eat lunch in your designated period. In college, it's just figure it out and eat and don't die. Like the older you get, the more responsibility you take on. Well, these guys are in college, and Brian Kelly's got them filling out like wellness charts and it's documenting when they sleep and all this stuff. And a lot of guys could have said, "Forget this," but he got buy-in, and they did it. And then you get to the opener and you lose, and it looked bad for 3/4 of that football game. I mean, we all talk about the block PAT at the end, but 3/4 of that game were pretty miserable. And at that point, they could have turned on him and said, "Man, all the stuff we're doing, none of it worked, and we lose the game." But it didn't, and they turned things around. They got the ball rolling in the right direction. It was encouraging, not just for this year, but moving forward as well. So no doubt we'll have plenty of time over these coming months to review year one of Brian Kelly, talk about what the roster is going to look like. As we've mentioned, they're still waiting some draft decisions. Mike Jones did declare he will not use his super senior COVID year available to him. He's going to go into the NFL, and we're waiting on a decision from John Emery. I've mentioned it a couple times. I'm told I think the staff is expecting John Emery to go pro. And I don't think anybody could blame him if, in fact, that happens. So you're waiting on a few of those decisions, and that will lead to what you're looking for in the February signing period, right, from both high school and in the transfer portal as well. But still some work to do for Brian Kelly and this coaching staff as they continue to build the roster for next year. And, I mentioned it earlier, and I don't know what the Vegas odds will look like when they come out, but I legitimately think LSU is going to start next season as the odds-on favorite to win the SEC West. And the default answer is Bama, right? Of course it is, and it should be, and I understand that. But Bama's losing, I don't know if you saw, but Battle, their safety, declared today. But, man, Bryce Young is gone, and Jahmyr Gibbs is gone, and Will Anderson is gone, and Elias Ricks declared today, and Battle declared, and Bama loses a ton, and they always do, I get it. And Saban reloads, and he has forever. But if you're going to tell me that Jalen Milroe is going to start at quarterback for Alabama next year, and I don't know if he will, but we saw him play a little bit this year. We saw him play in the Arkansas game when Young got hurt. We saw him start against Texas A&M. And Milroe struggled. He's a dynamic athlete, make no mistake, but he struggled at times. Turnovers were a problem. But, we look at the returning quarterbacks in the SEC for next year. Your leading passer this year was Will Rogers. He's coming back. Stetson Bennett is gone. Bryce Young gone. Hendon Hooker gone. Spencer Rattler, we'll see what happens there. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss, who, look, there are reports out there that Spencer Sanders from Oklahoma State is considering Ole Miss. So Jackson Dart may not even be the starter there next year. We'll see. Then Jaden Daniels with 2,913 yards was 7th. Brady Cook, KJ Jefferson, Anthony Richardson, who's gone, Will Levis, who's gone, Robbie Ashford. Then you get into Robbie Ashford, AJ Swan, Haynes King. I mean, my point is, Will Rogers is going to be the leading returning passer in the SEC next year. And I don't think anybody's going to pick State to win anything of significance. It's literally Rodgers and then either Jaden Daniels, Jackson Dart, KJ Jefferson. I mean, you could make an argument that LSU will certainly have the most experienced quarterback in the SEC. you're returning your entire offense. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of optimistic about the defense. I mean, Matt House proved to be a very good defensive coordinator, and you're losing some players, but, man, you're going to return a lot of talent in that front seven. You get Mason Smith back. You've added Denver Harris. I think LSU should be the odds-on favorite to win the West when the season starts next year. And the schedule, the way it shapes it, yes, you have to go to Alabama, but you're going to get Auburn, Florida, Texas A&M, all in Baton Rouge, and Arkansas in Baton Rouge. And Missouri rotates on, so you got to go to Columbia, Missouri, but you're going to play Missouri, and, of course, Florida comes to Baton Rouge. Those are your East opponents. I think you can make a really, really strong case that LSU should be the favorite next year to win the SEC West. A lot of time between now and then, but file that one away. All right, it's after further review. We're going to knock out a break. We'll do a little Otter Locks to come back. We'll find out what we're betting on tonight. Of course, you can always make those bets at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Remember, what a great time of year as we move into the new year. You got the national championship game in 6 days. You got NFL Week 18 coming up. Playoff spots on the line. You got the NBA every night. College basketball is in full swing. You want to bet on all of the action. Live in-game betting, parlays, same-game parlays. It's all there for you at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Make sure you use the promo code Baton Rouge. They always have great specials there at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and be sure to use the promo code Baton Rouge. Do you have a disclaimer? 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-877-7-0-STOP. Okay, we're going to knock out our final break. Come back. A little Otter Locks. What is Otter going to be betting on Tuesday? But NBA, I guess. Maybe some college basketball. Did y'all do Otter Locks last week while I was out?
Yes.
How did he do?
Let's see. Tuesday, not great. Thursday was better. Colucci hit on Thursday, of course, naturally.
So good.
So it was good. It was a good week for Otter.
Okay. Otter's bowl record. He does not want me to say it because he feels like it's bad luck if you say the bowl record. But suffice to say, it is very, very good. Otter's bowl record has been sterling this year with 1 game to go. All right, Otter Locks next, AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
And let's start off 2023 with this raving fan shout-out, which came in from Miss 3272. Darren sold their home in Zachary. The review read, "This is the second home Darren has sold for my wife and me. We could not be more pleased. Very professional, great communication, marketing skills, and always quick to respond to our questions or needs. In addition, Darren surrounds himself with a great team." Another 5-star review of Darren James from Darren James & Associates, powered by eXp Realty. If you are thinking about selling your home and you need to sell it quickly for top dollar, hire the realtor that sells more homes than anyone. Call Darren James. Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America. 335-7666 for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2022 Ford F-150, plus no payments for 90 days and 2.9% APR for 72 months. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, just a quick reminder, awful weather in the area today. It's supposed to rain till about 1 a.m. There were tornado watches earlier today. If you have or think you might have a roofing issue, we'd love to help you out at Hudco Roofing. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. You go to the website, HudcoRoofing.com. You can fill out the inspection form on the homepage, or you can always give us a buzz in the 225. It's 364-1007, 364-1007. There's a Bossier office as well, so if you're north of Alexandria, call the Bossier office. Anywhere south of Alec, if it's Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Lake Charles, wherever, we'll service the entire state. 364-1007 for Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, one thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only incomparable of an incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year, Matt. How about you, buddy?
I was fired up to have had Mississippi State minus 3.5. That rocking chair was never in doubt, brother. Never in doubt. Take them. Hey, never apologize when you're on the right side of one of those, right?
You know, when we did Otter Locks with Musso and Hanny on pregame, it was still just 3. And so I wasn't crazy about laying 3.5 for sure. But, you know, when they set up, the guy almost busted for the touchdown. So they get down to the 1-yard line. And when he sets up in the middle of the field, I'm like, well, they call timeout with 10 seconds to go. There's a shot for the lateral game. And and there you go, boy. You know. Now, in the last lateral, we had to look, and it was about a half yard backwards. It was backwards, like from the 35 to the 36, but it was, it's part of it, man. Yeah. It's part of it. So, very, very sad news, obviously. It's dominated the airwaves, and rightfully so. It's, I mean, what do you do? You know, Mike Delicano and I are both in football families, and look, man, we don't know. There are a lot of playoff implications, as you know about. That's secondary right now. We get it, but it's just going to be interesting to see how the NFL handles this. You know, as the information comes in, from Hamlin, and I mean, eventually they're going to move on and play the playoffs. I mean, of course, I think everybody's been overly sensitive to the situation, overly respectful. His Toys for Tots charity. How about that? Is that awesome? It's over $5 million now.
It's incredible.
So there's some good, and who doesn't stick behind their players like the Bills Mafia? So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. So moving forward. But we're gonna look back at the bowls. Where the final tally is 27-13-1.
Okay.
So we did repeat at 20-4. But
I try to tell people, man, that record at 20-4 was like, what in the world is going on? 20-4.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, and I lost to semis. I like the chalk. Our buddy Matt Humans was on tonight. He had both underdogs, and also, it's the first major golf event, and Maui Matt is pretty strong in golf, so we have picks from there. True. And a lot to look back on the bowl games. I mean, how does this Tulane USC compare and contrast to Boise, Oklahoma? Just a lot of things, and we look at what we learned as far as, I think information is king when you come into these bowl games, and we learned that for sure. One little small one tonight. If you got a little college, little profit boost for multi-leg parlay, Tennessee, Bama, and Kentucky. Pulling for the Tigers for Tennessee, Bama, Kentucky. Money line parlay now. At DraftKings -175. They do have some profit boost. We'll knock it down to -139. It's not a strong card. We'll be more prepared tomorrow.
Sounds good. Tennessee, Bama, and Kentucky money line parlay for the Otter. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge or online at 1045ESPN.com. Thank you, Otter.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
All right, man. Muse, Paulie, thanks so much. Happy New Year, everybody. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution. A network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Service Master Elite create clean